On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. We're known for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shady, my bros raw. No breaks, we go. Throw shade, that's a no. Go high, go low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD24. No sleep, need more. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Ooh, I'm a real one, my day ones. Try speak up, can't say none. Try dig dirt, there ain't none. I make the money that save up. 10 to 80, my save ones. Take to the top on the base one. New car, race on. Fast lane, pace on. With the booyah, that's a flex. Not human, I ain't from another planet. I'ma teleport, might vanish. I'ma wake up, do damage. Jordan number 7, East Bordeaux. Working all night, need more though. I remember nights I was poor though. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go down, levitate. Going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now I'm stepping up to home. Like straight out the sandlot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Smell good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games.
You. What's up? What's good? Shout out to y'all. What's happening? Oh man, it is great to be back. It is great to be back. Man, bruh, y'all just don't know, man. Dude, first off, shout out to y'all. Shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to everybody for stopping by, man. It's been a crazy week. Not only for what's been going on lately in the news, but for myself as well. Like, obviously, I didn't get to make my show last week, bro, because it was nuts. Like, my computer crashed, like my PC crashed. You know what I mean? Like, and I had to replace it. I had to get my old parts from my old PC. Like, my CPU, the actual chip failed on me. So, the fact that I'm able to get on live with you guys right now is just great. You know what I mean? I'm in a good mood. It was looking grim, dog. Like, I was fighting tooth and nail to, you know what I'm saying, keep the flow going with the channel and everything. My whole computer was down. So that was crazy. Man, but glad y'all are here. Hit the like button on your way in. Comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff down there in the comment section and everything. Appreciate y'all for supporting. It's been a wild week. Definitely has. Couple topics. Our main point tonight. As they said, we were corny. Now we're passport bros. All right. Now we're traveling overseas for better opportunities. Yeah. And the brother Michael B. Jordan is probably one of the best examples of the most recent brothers to exhibit this situation, right? Now, I'm going to say something. I wasn't able to get on the topic last week because I know the hot topic last week was where everybody with passport bros was going crazy because we had a brother who got trapped over in DR. So I want to do a little bit of house cleaning first. I want to go ahead and take care of that. I still got y'all. I'm dropping my opinion. We still talking about it. It's still about to happen. I'm still finna get it in and discuss that whole situation because that was a bit of a fiasco. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get right into it. We're going to break it down. Now I want to start out talking about, before we get to our main topic. Okay. Now, I should be on screen share. Just going to go ahead and add this to the stream. All right. Make sure y'all can hear it when I start playing it. If you can't hear it when it starts playing, let me know. But this was what was going on. Okay. From the passport bro, quote unquote, who got stranded in the DR. Right. Now, I got my opinions about this, but we're going to let it rock a little bit just to remind everybody, because I know this was last week's news. It's all good. But we going to bring this up again, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of what's going on here, because I didn't give my critique of this situation, right? If y'all was watching BMO Radio, shout out to the family, shout out to BMO family. If y'all was over there watching on the BMO YouTube, If y'all was watching, then you saw my opinion, but I didn't get to do it and document it on my channel. So let's check out what brother was saying. So fair use, all that good stuff. Let me know if y'all can hear it. Now, the first thing I want to say is this. If you heard what he said he just got off the phone with Spirit Airlines. Now I'm gonna say something. Okay. For any of y'all who have traveled, going to travel, looking to travel, all right. Oh, it's got no sound, Jamel? All right. Let me bag it up. Let me bag it up. Let me bag it up. Let me pull it down and bring it back up. Hold tight. Let me bring it back up. Mm, all right. let's do let's do this. All right, so I'm gonna take it down. Stop the screen, bring it up. Struggle stream, you know what I'm saying? Build it as we fly it. You know how it is. All right. So we're gonna do see if we can get it working. Cancel that. Share screen, share screen, share tab audio. Make sure it's working. We're gonna share this. Let me see. Select tab preview. All right, hold tight. Make sure it's working. Exit screen, stop screen. All right. Now, hold on. Let's see if we should be sharing the window. Let me turn the sound up. The sound just might have been low. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure it's gonna play right. I got the sound. All right, you still ain't getting no sound from it? All right, hold on. Settings might be off a little bit. But basically, y'all pretty much know the story of this one. This old boy trapped in DR, basically, right? And he's looking for cash apps. Okay. Bruh's looking for cash apps now. Okay. Let me see. Now I want to say one thing. For everybody who knows, one of the first things he was talking about was he was using Spirit Airlines. Brother's flying Spirit. You already setting yourself up for failure, man. Ain't no brother out here traveling really moving through Spirit like that. Now, apparently, in this situation, what he was doing was trying to do something on a budget and only use maybe like $500, something like that, right? That's what he was trying to do. Okay. He was trying to run it. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna run it up like $500 and stuff like this. And I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna have a good time. Now, the thing is, that is probably one of the most foolish things you can do when you're trying to travel, man. You don't want to be trying to do no super budget. Oh, let me try to, finesse a way to go out here and travel, on the lowest of keys and not spend a lot of money. And I'm just like, bruh, that's not a smooth move. That is not a, we'll say that's not a kosher move, bro. That's not smart, G. Right? Now, my thing about this situation with this, bro, is, and I said before, I don't really consider this cat a passport bro necessarily. That's not. I don't see that here because I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, passport bros." They're blaming passport bros, and of course, obviously, by the title that you can see over here on the TikTok is saying, "Oh, he's a passport bro." Me personally, I don't label this dude a passport bro. You know what I mean? This no, this to me is not somebody who's a passport bro. Because let's put it this way: if you go over here and you go to a spot, you travel, you have a situation, something happens. Now, first off, if something like this happens, even though we all who have traveled have had situations overseas where things have happened, right? The last thing you're gonna do is broadcast it. The last thing you're gonna do is broadcast it as though it's something that needs to be talked about. That's one of the first things to me to make this look a little bit like, bro, I feel like and I detect we got a little bit of clout chasing going on. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know the brother. I ain't throwing no shade at him. But let's keep a buck a buck. Why are you telling the world about this situation? Okay? We don't need to know. That's facts. We don't need to know. Okay? It's the last thing that we need to know about is what you doing overseas. And then on top of this, the thing that really bothers me is that you know the climate of what's going on. And I have not heard of this dude. I don't know anybody else who's really heard of him. And all these things are going on. And now what you want to do is you want to post a situation like this on your TikTok, knowing that all of our detractors and naysayers are just gonna eat this up. Everybody who's not a fan of the passport bros is gonna have a field day with this. Okay. And you are not helping anybody by putting something out like this. All right. This is what we got to deal with now. Well, I guess I should be pointing this way, but this is what we got to deal with now. We already got enough on our plate, right? We're already corny enough. Yeah. And now this brother is not helping the situation. I don't know who his people are. I don't know who he's connected to, but I wish somebody would have told him, say, hey, family, um, how about you don't post that? That's not the press we need. Okay. That's not good. That's not a good look for the passport bros, my G. But of course, he needed money, he needed help. Okay. And he's asking some chick to come help him. I think her name was Kayla. And I'm just like, dude, like, come on, fam. You hustling backwards. You want to try to go to DR on a super tight budget? That's just, man, you just asking for trouble, dog. You just asking for trouble. Let me see if the sound is fixed. Um, we'll try to give the sound another shot. See if the sound is working. Let me see. Let's go with here. So basically, if y'all can hear it or not, he's asking for more money. He's trying to get money from the people. He's trying to get money from the fans. Okay. And this is not smooth. This is not a smooth passport bro move. This is not how we get down. This is not how we travel, right? Nobody teaches this. Okay. I don't know who told him to move like this, but that's not how we do. And it's just a bad look, man. Like, don't post that on TikTok, Brody. Okay? Don't post that on TikTok. We don't need that. Right? We already put the fires already as it is, man. Okay? And like I said, this dude over here is he's not helping us. We can do better. All right. We can definitely do better. Okay. Um Now, let me see here. Yeah, that was something that just last week, man. That was chaos, bro. That was straight chaos. Um Horrible, horrible, horrible example. Right? Somebody reach out to this dude and let him know, like, hey, bro, if you're really trying to move and travel and stuff like this, first of all, have a better itinerary. And if you do get into some stuff like that, you should let the world know you ain't no passport, bro. G. Keep it a buck. Okay. Let me go over here to now. Let's get it. So, brother Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, man. Brother's been successful. He's been doing all kind of superhero movies with Marvel, Killmonger. He was in that one movie where they I forget the name of the movie, where they had like the superpowers. It was like three dudes and they was like on some what was the name of the movie? I'm trying to remember the one. I know it was a Supernatural. That's a TV show. But anyway, um, yeah. So Michael B. Jordan, big name right now. Creed series, everything, man. Bruh's been killing it, dog. Michael B has been killing it. Okay. And still, regardless, it almost seems like regardless of what you do within the community, they still gonna try to label you as some type of square, some type of lame, whatever, some type of dusty. If you don't fit a certain mold, they just gonna see you as that dude who ain't got it. And it surprises me that everybody who is who is watching this is surprised by what's going on. Right? Everybody is surprised by what's going on. Now, it's kind of sad to see it like this, but this is the type of stuff that we've been talking about. On the Black Manosaur side of the house, on the Passport Bro side of the house, we've been saying it ain't really ain't no saving what has been going on. A lot of brothers have been seeing this coming. All right. A lot of dudes have been seeing this coming. Okay. It's a shame. And people talk about, oh, saving the community this, saving the community that. It's just like, bro, like, if you rise yourself up to be on the level of a Michael B. Jordan and you still, and they still look at you like, hey, nah, you still corny, because she literally called this man corny and then stood on it because at one point she said, hey, well, we were just talking about your name, but then again, I guess in another interview, she got back at him and kind of stood on what she was saying. And I'm just like, what does it take? What does it take? What's the deal? Okay. Let me hit a refresher on this one so we can break this down. Let's make sure we can get the sound rolling. So we're gonna do a refresh. Y'all got sound on that? Throw me a quick one in the chat just to make sure that we got sound on that one if y'all can hear that. All right. Cause I wanna get into this. I want y'all to see this. All right. I want y'all to get into this breakdown because there's a lot of stuff being said that commonly happens within the black community. Okay. So let's run this back. Let's run it back. Because I gotta make sure the sound is working. So let's run it back. All right, cool. Here we go. Make sure we're not on mute. Sound is up. All right, cool beans. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Hold tight. Yeah, just make sure if y'all can hear it, let me know if y'all can hear the If y'all can hear the sound, because we got to do the breakdown. We got to make sure. So we're gonna let it rock. And it's just funny that she's gonna try to walk it back like it never happened, dog. Like, and I'm sure most of y'all have seen this, like, 100 times by now, right? But to me, it's funny to see it in real time. How she gonna try to act like that she didn't say what she said, and she just gonna walk it back like nothing ever happened. Okay, she gonna try to walk it back like, oh, that never happened. Oh, well, I didn't say that, and this and that. Because it's funny how she pay attention. She said, I didn't say that, then said, oh, it was we were only talking about your name. Like, come on, man. Like, nah, that's not gonna work. And then Michael B's like, no, see, I heard you. No, I know what y'all used to say. And now you want to try to walk it back because now I'm the director. I'm on this red carpet. I had my headshots all them years ago being that dude. And now you want to interview for me. Okay. And it's funny how so many things will come full circle. Okay. It's funny how this will it comes full circle. I mean, and that's how they do. It's like they don't want you until you hit a certain metric or you've portrayed a certain image. And it's sad that you literally have to be Superman in order to really kind of get some type of foothold or really to get the kind of respect that you think you deserve in your own community. Because even at Michael B's level, they're still trying to talk to Michael B like, oh yeah, well, we said that, but hey, just don't worry about it. Just let that slide. Let that ride. Don't even trip on that. Let that go. Right? We didn't mean it. But you're still saying it. You still talking that craziness. You still saying the stuff because it's like they still feel that way. But now you're in a position to where you could be a better provider. All right. Now let's keep going. Because now they get into the interview. And then let me see. Because I mean, most people just clip the first 25 seconds of it. Because everything else is really just the interview. Of course it was awesome. All right. Now the thing with John Majors, he rolls up. Here she go, trying to make brothers compete. Talk about sexiest man and all this. Yeah, look at him. John Majors is like, nah, bro, ain't no competition. We good up in here, man. We ain't trying to, we ain't trying to compete for the best looking dude around here. We all got money. What you talking about? We all got money, right? Okay. My man Sheldon said, "Oh, he said what's good, everyone." 44. Oh, Sheldon said no sound. Oh, he still got no sound on it. All right, it's cool then. We'll just let it rock. We just let it rock. Ain't no big deal. Y'all know what was said. Y'all know what was said. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? My bad, y'all. The sound ain't working, but we gonna make it through. We gonna make it through. Okay. So now that we know what was said, we see what has happened. And still, when John Major shows up, she's still trying to make these brothers compete with each other. Typical, right? Typical. Trying to make brothers go at it, compete, trying to say who's the best, this and that. I mean, it's casual small talk, but still, I mean, she's already kind of slighted. already kind of slighting dude. Like, hey man, she's already showing you low levels of disrespect. And this, mind you, is what a lot of brothers who travel talk about, is that they are not going to sit around and wait for a lot of these females to come around. Because if you look at it, now that Michael B is older, now that he's in position to be one of the top dudes in Hollywood, all different types of movies, got himself together, works out, he's fit, put himself together. Now he's a whole total package. Okay. He's a whole package now. He's in built himself up, got himself going. And at this point, they still are trying to call man's because they still have the mentality that he's goofy or some type of lame or whatever the case may be. Right. So he's still, in their eyes, kind of a lame dude. And this dude's on top of the world right now. Right? I'm gonna drop the link early just in case y'all want to come through because I know this is a hot topic. So, I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get in. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all get in. You know what I'm saying? In case y'all want to throw your 2 cents on it, I'll go ahead and drop it. We're gonna go ahead and drop the link early just in case anybody wants to really get in and ride on this topic. Because to me, this is why we travel. I say it again. It's almost like every single week I'm having to break it down in the solution, and it always comes down to this is why we travel. This is why we travel. This is why we travel. Because you got brothers who are just like, yo, we ain't gonna fight y'all. We not gonna go to war. We just gonna say straight like this. You know what? We've already made our decision. We're just gonna go overseas. We just going to go to better places and situations. We're gonna build ourselves up, get our money right, get everything in order, and then we're gonna travel. We're just gonna rock. It's like it's not even like it's a hard decision. It's not even like anything that we really need to sweat over. Like, yeah, some of us do it for entertainment on these YouTube streets. We may go back and forth a little bit, spicy conversation, right? But for the most part, a lot of these brothers are not here to try to go back and forth and fight with females. And we not really on that, to be honest. Not on this side. Not on this side. You know what I mean? We ain't really doing all that. Okay? Because I think there was a lot of us in the passport bro community who were at one point, considered lame or not really the type of street dude or, the dude who was killing it in football or basketball. That was really just all the females just flocking to. It happens, right? If you're interested, like you said, like in Michael B's case, you're interested in the arts, or me, myself, I was, artist, what I'm saying, as far as doing my thing with drawing and stuff like this. I was a part of that crowd. The comic books, anime, yeah, I was that dude in high school. Like, and that's why I know firsthand, like I'm not ashamed of standing on my square when it comes to saying I know I wasn't that dude when it came to the one that the black females wanted. Like, if we talk about back when I was in, for me, it like way back when I was like in elementary school, it was weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like the females always act kind of like funny towards me. You know what I'm saying? Like the black ones, especially the black ones, the black females, because that was like they had it even like if I remember, this was like, oh my god, dude, I'm talking like third grade, cuz like you know what I mean, like just way back then, and all the black girls would like click up and be their own little clique, and they was always talking trash about everybody, so they alienated a lot of people, you know what I mean. And the funny thing is, of course, that's just being children and stuff like that and kids. That's why I said, like, I understand, like, internally that it's like, I don't hold a grudge really about it, because I'm just like, hey, we were kids, right? We was kids and we were growing up, and it was whatever, right? But still, there's a little bit of a mentality that does carry over from from the childhood over into adolescence, when you're like middle school and stuff like this, where they still keep a little bit of that, programming in them. I see you in the back. I got you. They still keep a little bit of that programming in them to where they're just still looking at you, even in middle school though. They just kind of looking at you like, you kind of hang with this clique, you're not really this. Like I said, I was one of the gamer types, on the anime side of the house, drawing, doing my thing, comic book side of the house. Matter of fact, in middle school, I was skateboarding. Like, yo, I was, I was, hey, I was just doing me. Okay. And, for me, things didn't really change much until I really got to like my senior year of high school. And I left from where I was at in North Carolina and wound up going to Texas, went over to El Paso, and then like it was just Latinas was just choosing, bro. Like, and I'm sure a lot of brothers who travel now have had experiences like that, especially me growing up military. You can ask, I'm pretty sure you can talk to any brother who has really kind of dated out. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't no hate black woman type situation. It's just like he's just like, hey, whatever. Like, if she's attractive and we good, we rock. It is cool. It's just gonna be whatever. You can ask most of the brothers who walk that path, and they'll tell you it's just like, yo, old girl was giving me choosing signals. She was cool. She was attractive. She was being nice, and we just started kicking it, and that's how it went, right? Especially because, like, I think a lot of us brothers who are at the point to where they're just like, hey, man, I date out. It ain't no big deal. I don't care. We were a little bit, ostracized or kind of outcast from the mainstream community and all this other shit. We weren't really the top dog and all this other stuff as far as being the street dude or the one who was the thuggiest or whatever the case. Like, okay, fine. We may not have been that dude, but it's funny how when we switched our environments, we got way more attention. And you didn't really do anything different. You just left. You changed your location. You just change your location. And that's why a lot of brothers who travel are so stomped down about being a passport bro, because they know and they understand the value of what changing your location can do for you. Michael B right now, I believe, is dating a British model, if I'm not mistaken. Michael B is not sweating no ABWs over here in the States. He has access. He has resources now. He's dating out because he knows how a lot of y'all sisters treated him when he was younger. He was scrawny. He had braids. He was carrying his headshots around. Y'all hated on his dream. Said he was goofy and lame for carrying around his headshots and stuff like this, and wanted to be an actor. And hey, that's definitely something I can see black females clowning him about. Like, who you think you are, this and that. And now he's literally considered, if there was going to be a black Superman, they already talking about Michael B being literally Superman. It's crazy, right? It's crazy how time changes things. Okay, yeah, he built himself up, stayed on his purpose, did what he was supposed to do. But we know over in this community, a lot of black females have a hard time picking dudes who's like, hey, you should keep your eye on him. He might go places, right? But they go for the immediate, the chaotic dude who's exciting and all this other shit, who's 1 foot out of the jail, got a record, because that's exciting. Until you grow up and you're damn near 40. Now you say, you know what? Maybe a Michael B or a Russell Wilson would be a better idea. Sad story. Sad story. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to bring up our guest in the back. Let's go.
Amapiano parties have the best vibes.
with some Amapiano moves. I think she's ready for groove. Don't you think?
Good morning. So I woke up with all these videos of women attacking the passport bros. Oh, wait, let me just take a sip of the coffee that my passport boyfriend made me. If you don't care at all, why are you reacting that way? You girls making these content, saying all these nasty words against the women who were brought by the Western guy to their countries is just an example why they don't want you. It's so funny that you call us nanny, vulnerable, doormat, stuff like that, when we are actually not. It's not our fault that they chose us over you.
Dear Passport Boys, dear Passport Bros, stop calling yourself Passport Boys and Passport Bros. Are you going to the Philippines to look for a Filipina queen or what? So stop calling yourself Passport Boys and Passport Bros. Start calling yourself Passport Kings. That's right, you are a Passport Kings.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, welcome back. Shout out to Yana and Helga, which I don't know. Apparently, though, Helga was turncoated on us, and you know what I'm saying, she apparently at this point has been hating. You know, I didn't dig into it, but apparently Helga's she's a traitor. But we got Prez in the building. Shout out to
Hey,
Prez. He's in the building. What's happening, G?
hey, what's good, man? Hey,
What's happening, man?
bruh, this first off, appreciate you letting me come on tonight. You know, I heard it was some last minute stuff, so I had to jump into the phone booth and change. You know how I do.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you, bro.
But
Yeah, man. Good
yo,
to see
man,
you.
first off, man, I went to go see that Creed 3 today.
Oh yeah,
Out,
I was.
outstanding,
Oh yeah.
outstanding movie. And it was his directorial debut. He did an
Mhm.
excellent job. That movie is probably going to be, well, it should be one of the best movies this year,
Yeah.
because if you really watched it, it was deep. I mean, he really touched some subjects that plagued the black community in this movie. That's how, to me, that's how deep it was. So
Okay.
much kudos to him on that. But as far as
Yeah.
what you're talking about tonight, man, bruh, we all know the story. Oh,
Yeah.
well, you corny, you lame, you this and you that, you know. And then once you in a position and the spotlight, they have this selective amnesia. Like, no, I never said that.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Right.
See, for men, it's such a traumatic event that it sticks with us a long time.
Mhm.
And you can tell by his reaction to the way she tried to downplay it, like he really wanted to call out her name. I mean, he had that look like, yeah, no, sweetheart, you used to tease me and call me lame and corny and all this other
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, it's just nature. That
Yeah.
black man put in his work. He was able to build himself up and put himself in a position. Now he's on top, and he's already
Mhm.
done what he was supposed to do for the black community. He tried it with Lori Harvey, didn't work. I'm out, which is
Yeah.
a story that has been played out over and over and over and over again. You know, I heard you speaking about the stuff that you were going through when you were growing up in high school and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I too had the similar background. You know, I wasn't the jock or the cool kid or any other stuff like that. You know, I was just bouncing around and whatnot. And then when I went to the military and I had some focus, got on my purpose, and came back and had a chance to build myself up. Oh, now you want to talk. And even so
Right.
much so as even 25 years later, I had to cut a female acquaintance off because she chose one of my classmates. And turned out to be the classmate was the hot and sexy dude that turned her on. 25 years later, after she seen the body work that I put in, you know, she got upset because I didn't choose her. I said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You chose who you chose. You chose that man because you thought he was hot and sexy and you didn't think I was corny. But now on the back end, when you done hit the wall at 100 miles an hour, ain't nobody checking for you. And you see that at the time I was dating this little Russian chick from Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
Boy, she had body. Even I had broke up with her, she brought her up. But yeah, you was with that white girl. Sweetheart, that was 5 years ago. Why you mad? And then you say, well, you should have picked me. Picked you? Sweetheart, you upset because you chose the man, an ain't shit dude. You married an ain't shit dude. And then you want to get mad at me because of a choice that you made? And you see it played out over and over again amongst these guys that are traveling. Enough is enough. We're not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
And that is a common symptom in the black community, which is why the black community is dysfunctional, because you're choosing the man based on swag and how you feel. Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Versus a dude that is trying to do something on the long end, and you want to let me rephrase it. You want to come and wait for the man at the finish line, but you don't want to be with him through the race.
Exactly.
Versus other people that want to go with him through the race, be with him through the race, and then when he gets to the finish line, be there to cheer him on.
Exactly.
And now you're upset because they saw not only just Michael B. Jordan, but Jonathan Majors too.
John Majors too. Is right.
Yeah. I mean, the remarks about him that are being spread, like, oh, he's married to it. No, he had a baby by a white woman. Okay, but you weren't checking for him. And in the comments, oh, he has a slave face. Bro, that is some of the most ignorant shit, ignorant stuff that I've ever heard somebody say about another black person. And when you want to talk about the colorism, featureism, all the other isms that they like to throw and hurl at us, it's all projection, because that's how they feel. That's how they move. Yeah. It's a shame, but it's one of the reasons why brothers just check out. Because like I always say, if you don't value my presence, get used to my absence.
Exactly. That's probably one of the main reasons, is because, like, brothers, because like I said, it usually starts from childhood. And one of the biggest things is just like, black women have usually first right of refusal when it comes to black men. We usually start out with being around black females the most, of course, in the beginning. But some of us just don't usually wind up being their cup of tea or whatever it is. Like when we be ourselves, they don't always like who you really are. And then they usually like a dude who is a certain type of, certain type of dude usually. And what we've come up in, he has to be more the street or the thug type. And I think a lot of us kind of growing up in that, we might have kind of somewhat try to act like it a little bit, but it wasn't really us. We come to find out we wasn't really that dude, trying to dress like everybody else and do what everybody else is doing. And I broke myself away from that at an earlier age, I think, because I grew up military. I was military brat. So for me, I was always in different kind of cultures and places and situations, and I had to deal with and be able to relate to and communicate to people who are not black. So I kind of grew up with that instinct to be able to kind of move around. Some people call it code switching. I don't really call it code switching. I just became more of like a avatar, if you will, for different, different cultures. I could naturally just, things about me would relate to those people because I was kind of interested in those things. It wasn't me trying to front and fake like I was this type of dude, because coming up, the things I was into, like I said before, dealing with anime, I'm an artist, obviously, and then in comics and then gaming. I was skating in middle school and doing all these different things that related to things that were a little bit outside the black community, so to speak, quote unquote. And like we was wearing Vans and stuff like that way before it was cool. Ask anybody around my age who was in middle school wearing the skate shoes and stuff like that before Lil Wayne and all these little rappers start trying to skate. We was already doing that, wearing DCs, Etnies, Osiris's, right, Vans and stuff like that way before everybody was talking about, oh yeah, I wear Vans now. I'm on this punk rock rapper, trapper, skater type. That's new stuff. We had already been on that. We used to call people who did like that, posers, because we used to joke on the cheerleaders who would wear etnies knowing that they wasn't skaters. We called them posers. They're just like, yo, you a poser, you ain't even a real skater. Like, why are you wearing skate shoes? Like, what I'm saying? So my thing is that when you're adaptive to different cultures, and like how you said, how the sister you had to cut off, she related it and she automatically brought it back to the closest white person, the white chick you was messing with. And because they and this is one of the things I've heard many times about this, is that the reason that they want to separate you if you're not straight up a specific way in the black community is because they want to see that you don't have the potential to really deal with other races of women, or they're not going to be drawn to you. How you talk, how you move, and stuff like this, your accents and everything like that, how you dress, because they want to know that they don't have to compete with white women. They don't have to compete with Latinas, because what do we know? One of the last things that they want to do is actually have to compete with other races of women. They know that they don't want that. Okay. So the thing is they want to mess with the dudes that only date black women in that situation. And anything outside of that is labeled corny, where it's just like you as a brother could just be a diverse dude and you could just have many aspects to you. It's like the more knowledgeable you are about different things and the more relatable you are to different cultures and stuff like this, it's almost like the least likely you are to be a candidate for American black woman. And that's a shame, right? That's a shame, because
Yeah.
it goes to the level of also showing how much of a matriarchal gynocracy the black community is. This is why we keep telling brothers, black women run the culture over here in the black America. Okay. And black men who want to be all about black women follow that. And anything outside of that is corny, because they have laid down the metric of what being black is. See how all this comes full circle. They told you what black is, black women. And if they don't select you as black, you're outside of the group. You're outside of the group now. You're ostracized. You deal with those women, because their first insult to hurl at you is, I thought you was cute, but I seen you talking to white girls. It's like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that is why brothers like us who know better have no, we because we'll date out because we're used to the ridicule. We're used to being ostracized. We're used to, like, you never was really checking for me anyway. And I'm not finna sing and monkey dance for y'all so y'all can feel better about now where brothers done come up a little bit. Now he might be a candidate for somebody that you might deal with. But at the back of your mind, you still kind of see him the same way. He just now has resources that you want to use, or you see that the other races of women are really choosing for him, and you might be missing out. So now you feel like, oh, well, maybe he wasn't that lame or whatever the case. So we know what it is, man. We
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because my background is a little similar to yours. Now, for me, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. So I had exposure to multiple cultures at a young age. I mean, I had a white family that lived across the street from us that had adopted two people from Korea. I had an Indian family on one corner. I had a Jewish family in my cul-de-sac, and a lot of white people. So for me, I don't necessarily say it code switching. I just say I'm a day walker, because I can walk on both sides for a long time. But you're right, because you had that background. I mean, I played Dungeons and Dragons. I was in the comic books. The skateboards. We used to build skateboards, forts, ramps, all this stuff, industrious type stuff that we did in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But guys that I went to school with, black guys that I went to school with, well, black people, they couldn't relate to that, because of where they lived predominantly, especially being in Charlotte. I went to school with people that they lived in urban areas, and I'm in the suburb, and we didn't do the same things in the suburbs that they did in the urban areas. They just didn't. I mean, most of the people that were in my family were 2-parent homes. So you see families versus a lot of the people in those urban areas, not all, but the vast majority of them came from single parent homes. And if you grow up in that environment, you're going to be socialized to look for something else. Man, most of the women I went to school with, they fought better than the dudes. But when you look back on it, they grew up in that. They grew up fighting those dudes.
Yeah.
Me, I didn't grow up in a neighborhood where you saw men and women fighting like, Ali and Frazier.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw families. Not saying that they didn't have their problems, but that was my background. So looking back on it now, I never was their choice. Why? Because I didn't have their vibration. I didn't grow up in that environment. And even when I tried to adapt to that environment, they were still jealous. I'm like, I can't help what my parents chose for us to live, but I'm glad they did, because it allowed me to do what you said earlier, to be able to open up to other cultures, to be able to experience different things and be able to talk to other people and not have that limited mindset, which is translated in me having the ability to travel and look and see and explore, versus a lot of Black people that are like, I'm not going over there. There's nothing over there. They still have that same ghetto mentality.
Yeah.
And as a community, you see how it holds us back. So as technology has progressed, so has the things that people like myself and yourself, and now that superheroes and comic books are popular, the other things that go along with it are starting to be more open, and Black people, Black men are expressing their interest in that. Like you said, with the skateboarding and stuff, bike riding, BMX, we used to do all that stuff, but you didn't see a Tony Hawk or somebody coming out of the hood.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? You just didn't see that. And those experiences gave you a background that a lot of Black males didn't have, especially when you grow up in a predominantly white neighborhood and you got both parents in the house.
Yeah. Especially.
It is. If you look at it and see what it is now, the effects of it, you can see. Like I actually had to go back and reflect. I'm like, yo, every woman I dated from high school or junior high all the way up to my most recent ABW that I was dating here, they came from a single parent home with the exception of 2. And I was like, I was socialized to be a husband because my parents were together 51 years before my father passed. Yeah. But most of those women never had a father in their home. And they identified with the street dudes. Those were the guys that they either lost their virginity to and got imprinted by. And, and they had those experiences, and that's what put them on the path that led them to where they're at now.
Yeah.
And you trying to, and the other thing is they try to engineer those guys. You can't make a guy into a husband, a street dude into a husband, if he came from a single parent household. Same way you can't make a woman a wife if she came from a single parent household where the mother is in charge, because there's no tutelage, there's no instruction, there's no guidance, there's nothing for you to be able to identify with. So all these guys that were lame, cornball, now it's cool. Oh, you in the comic books? Yeah, it's cool. Oh, you rocking Vans? Oh, or some Chuck Taylors? Oh, yeah, it's cool. Oh, you doing this? You doing that? It's cool. But they still have that underlying disdain for you.
That's right.
Because they don't want you, but they need you.
Well, what the thing is what they don't want. They don't want you, but they also don't want you to be valuable to other races of women. That's one of the biggest things. is that they want to look at it like, oh well, we want to feel justified in our decision for curbing you and calling you goofy and lame. We want to make sure that no woman wants you, and that when it comes time for us to deem you as credible enough to really deal with, that's when it'll be okay, but not until we say so. So again, that is called, it's just like matriarchal mate guarding. You know what I mean? They're trying to make sure that you're not in position, nor do you ever rise up enough to where you'll be something that other races of women will want to select. They
Right.
want to, that's what they want, to keep you suppressed. They don't want you to reach your full potential, which is why we said it before. This is why they like men who are compromised. This is why they like the street dudes and the thugs and whatever, who have felonies and they can't move and they can't be mobile. A lot of the guys, and this is what trips me out about passport bros and the whole situation. All the shit talking and everything, it's just weird to me because I'm just like, most of the guys who are traveling have a background similar to mine in some type of way. They were either military background, in the military themselves, um, got on some tech jobs, something like that, and they never really were the high select dude for a lot of the black women. And it's funny when you start putting yourself together, pulling yourself up, because you were used to understanding clearly you were not the select choice for black women. You understood clearly. They think I'm this, they call me this. I'm not enough of that. I'm into this. They don't relate to that, you know. And it's interesting how they will now be so bothered by guys like us who look for opportunities to travel, go overseas, and then again be mad that some brothers are now returning fire from what you were doing to them all them years ago. Now, some are more aggressive than others with it, but we have a low level disdain for a lot of the females who were talking to us a certain type of way and stuff like this. And then when you go to another culture and stuff like that, and they're just like, I don't see anything wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, let's do this, let's do that. And then on top of that, even if you come from a broken, let's just say you come from a broken family, right? Nah, this is gonna be big for a lot of y'all. I see you in the back. Come on up. This is gonna be big for a lot of y'all, right? For those of you who came from broken families, brothers, and then you go over to another race or culture and you see what it's like to be around a big family where everybody's together, helping each other out, the aunties and the cousins, they're all around each other. The mom and dad are here, you know, they're still married, and you never seen that before. And you get around a girl or a female, you know what I'm saying, who's Latina or whatever, Asian, and her whole family's intact. And you like, oh my God, this is what we should have had. And then there's a part of you that wants to invest in that because you realize there's a part of you that has been missing for so long. And when you see it, you just like, I want to have a big family too. You know, then you start wanting to have traditional this, traditional that. And then when you start seeing the type of women who come from those type of backgrounds, you're just like, oh man, they treat you different because they came from a place where they saw how men should be treated. That's why they say that in the black community, unfortunately, a lot of black women's love language is disrespect. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but it is very true.
Yeah.
So,
That
have you
that
ever experienced, you know, a situation where you mess with a female of a different culture and you got to see like family, like what a real family's like?
well, yeah. I mean, but for me, even my own personal family on both my mother and my father's side. I'm from North Carolina too, that eastern part of the state. So, back then, you talking about cousins and aunts and uncles, everybody's all in that same vicinity. So I'm old enough to remember those type of events, those type of gatherings and being around large families. But here lately, you don't have that. So when you go someplace where it's abundant, you can see that there's a change in our culture. Our culture has been focused on oneism. And women only focus on their immediate family. They don't really
Mhm.
care about the aunties or the grandmothers above them. They don't really care about the cousins next to them unless they're in the same vicinity.
Yep.
They don't care. And as the years have gone on, you're seeing a breakdown of that type of connectedness in the black community because there's no men that are keeping that tradition alive. You know, I I was doing a family tree, and I always had the impression that it was the mothers that kept the family together. But when I
Mhm.
talked to my own mother, and she used to tell me that her father would tell her who's who and what's what, and that's how they would keep things together. Because
Yeah.
the men always wanted everybody to know who their family was, because they understood that that was the power of the black community, and it's having your family and knowing who your family is. Now,
Exactly.
when you have the women that are running the community, they don't care about family except for their family, where they are the head matriarch, the big mama.
The big
They
mama.
don't want to be the big great grandmother. They just want to be big mama and then maybe big grandmama, but they don't want to pass that torch on. And that
Mhm.
helps isolate families from each other. And over the
Mhm.
years, you see where we're at with that. There is no
Yeah.
connectedness. Nobody goes to each other's houses during the holidays. Now, go someplace like Brazil or Colombia or Thailand or Africa or even some of these other places, Germany, when it's time for a holiday or a celebration, they're still connected together with family. And when you
Yeah.
don't have that and you go into a culture that has it, you realize what you lost and what you really want.
Exactly.
I think a lot of men want that traditionalism, and that's part of it. So for you to have that feeling again, you have to go back into a culture that still has those same values, which is why
Exactly.
a lot of brothers travel to some of these other countries to get wives, because they still have that connectedness, that tradition, whereas we don't anymore.
Exactly.
It's gone.
Yeah. And it's a shame that it's gone. And you know, after Big Daddy, Big Daddy passed away, Grandpa and the family passes away. Both of my grandmas on both sides still living. You know what I'm saying? But my granddad's passed away. God, I was so young, so little. You know what I'm saying? My granddad's
Yeah.
unfortunately passed away, and it's just a shame that we see that in the culture and in the community, we don't have the tradition being passed down because now and I don't really want to blame the Gen X women completely, but a lot of the Gen X women decided that they wanted to be single, independent. We know all the songs, we know everything, and they decided that they don't want to be held down by what they thought being weak was, based off of what they thought they were seeing from their mothers and grandmothers and so on and so forth. And so they felt like, oh, we need to be free. These men are oppressive. We need to do this and that. We need to go get our grooves back. So a lot of it, I think a lot of black men who give a damn are going to these other countries because we still believe in traditionalism. We still believe in families. I'll honestly say that, and of course, my ex is American, but even on my side, one of the biggest things that kind of drew me in was understanding how strong her family was. Now, not to say that my family is distraught and all this, all that beat up and everything. No, we good. We all communicate. But there was an interconnectedness on their side where it felt like something that I used to have, because in my more older years as becoming a young man into a man and stuff like this, my family got more spread out to the winds and everybody's so far away. Just like if I wanted
Right.
somebody to visit my family, we're gonna have to hop a few states. But with my ex, they're all in one collective area for the most part, right? That's a gift and a curse, but the whole family thing is what made me feel so much more comfortable being with her. All right. Now, ultimately, what broke us down was some other stuff, but on the family aspect of it, I know that my son is in good hands because everybody up there loves my son. Everything is great. That to me, that's not something I'm worried about. He's in one of the best places. He's going to have a great education. My son's going to be taken care of because everybody loves him. He's their first grandchild. So, he's got all the attention, or, at least he did when he was younger, like a toddler. You know what I'm saying? And even speaking to that, for those who don't know, and I've said it before, Mike's is white. It's a white chick. Okay. So like I saw, it was not to say that the black family is so horrible comparatively, but in the aspects of the longevity of them being a strong family, where you still see the mom and dad, the uncles. Okay. For me, I was impressed with the patriarchs of the family still being there. The granddads still there. The uncles, are everybody's commonplace, and the men hang out and have drinks, and the women they go over here and they talk, and the kids and cousins are running around playing. It was just a great environment. Okay, so and then of course going overseas, like you mentioned, Brazil. Oh my God, for me, Brazil was on a different level because it was that, but then it was on times 10 or 100 because it was like everybody over there is Brazilian. And it seems like that they put that first, that they make sure that if you're a Brazilian, you you feel like a Brazilian because everybody will join in on Brazilian things, right? Everybody will gather around when Flamengo has a game. Okay. It's like the streets shut down like a ghost town. Everything is
Right.
quiet. On their holiday, they have so many holidays. On their holidays, everybody is doing the Brazilian thing. Like, is it Friday or Saturday where they shut down the whole Avenida Atlantica and everybody's like
Sunday.
walking? Sunday,
Sunday.
they
It's
shut it
family
all
day.
down. Family Day. They have, for those of y'all who don't know, they have a specific day for Family Day where they shut down the whole strip of the beach. They shut it down for cars and they let families walk, travel, run, take their kids out, and it's customary. Like we don't really have customs like that are that strong over here in the States. And I think for a lot of men who hunger for traditionalism are starting to more and more get separated from the American way of doing things because so much now of America is you have to literally, cut down who you are, cut down half of who you are as a man, okay, in America to really kind of, I guess, get some of the riches of what you could get here if you want a family, because traditionally a lot of the American women here see themselves as your equal or above. And it's not to say that traditional families is that the wife is so much lesser, but it's just like in other traditional households, they say we need the man. The man is the head of the household. We understand these things. And the whole thing about gender roles, okay, that's a little nasty buzzword that modern feminists hate nowadays. Gender roles is one of the biggest things that I feel as though modern men long for, and they have to go other places to get it. What's your
Well,
opinion on that?
I mean, I agree with you 100%. And I'll take it even a step further is that in Brazil, they have, not only do they have senior citizens hours, they have certain lines in the supermarket that are for senior citizen only. And when you see that, you see how they still value the elder generation. We don't have that here.
No.
And that's something that's taught, that's passed along the generations. So you still have that connectiveness with the family. And you're right, when you don't have it or it's absent in your life, you are definitely going to long for it. And that is another thing that's not really spoken about, is that a lot of men, black men, want that connectedness because we've been disconnected from our community or the communita.
Yeah.
And when you go someplace like that, it hits different. That's why I say other people go other places and they may connect there more than they do in the States.
Yep.
And then they go to these places and they really get into it. And the more they're there, the more that they're dipped in that energy and that vibration. And they get drawn to it even more so. And at the same time, they're disconnecting from the matrix. So they come back here and they're like, yo, I'm not messing with women here. I'm not interested in dating women here. It's a waste of my time. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to move on. Bottom line.
Yeah.
And brother, you know what? And that's something that's never really talked about, amongst the guys that are throwing up the passport bro stuff. That's not really talked about. You're talking about the women, but it's not just the women. It's actually you disconnecting from a toxic culture, a culture of dysfunction, and replugging yourself into a society or a culture that still has some semblance of what you're wanting.
Yeah.
Not saying every place is perfect, but at the same time, you're still going to be able to get connectiveness. Why? Because people in other countries still need each other, whether they have a lot of money or they have a little bit of money. Here, I'm strong and I'm independent. I don't need no man. Okay, well,
man.
then you got it. And that's the problem. You got it. And to what you said earlier, I would say the Gen X women did have a big role in that, because I'm a Gen Xer and I knew the propaganda that was spewed back then, from the media to the music to the articles.
Yeah.
It was so much, because at that time it was the emergence of television. You didn't have 3 stations anymore. You had 64, and you didn't have just the stations that played what they wanted you to see. You started seeing more black shows, black centric shows, but they wanted the shows to have a certain tone to it, and those tones were pushed.
Yep.
And as you see, the music changed. I'm strong and I'm independent, but at the same time, the men's side of that of those songs or media was, I'm devoted to you, but at the same time, you telling me that you don't need me. And I mean, Mary J. Blige made a career off of telling men that we don't need them. Destiny Child made a career. I mean, dude, it was so much that was bombarded at that time in that Gen X era of songs, because you got to remember, there were multiple groups coming out then. And they all had that same message. I mean, we talking about Tony Braxton. Well, I just say groups.
Yeah,
you're talking about TLC, Changing Faces.
Yeah.
You had all those
Vogue.
songs. Yeah, In Vogue. All those songs were coming out at the same time. So it was a constant bombardment of I'm strong and I'm independent. Couple that with the movies and the media, and then getting the pat on the back, and oh, you go girl, and blah 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 blah. Okay, you drank the Kool-Aid. Men, on the other hand, Gen X men, which I think a lot of Gen X men are still blue-pilled, because they were programmed on the Keith Sweat side, on the Luther Vandross side, the love songs and all this other stuff. Bro, they don't love you. You in love with somebody that's not in love with you. And I think about a quote that I heard Gerald Levert say before he passed away, and it was, looking back on it, it was very powerful. And everybody that doesn't know who Gerald Levert is, Gerald Levert was a big time R&B singer back in the day, part of the group Levert. He went solo. He did he did a album with LSG and stuff and whatnot. But he said, I never found the love that I sang about. And if you look at that quote now, that's deep. That means it didn't exist. And this is a guy that was famous, could sing. He had money, fame, and stuff, and he couldn't find the love that he sang about. Because it didn't exist. It doesn't exist. So brothers now in 2023 are withing up. Some Gen Xers are withing up. Why? Because they've been through that child support shredder. They've been to that divorce court cage match. And they come on the other side. They're like, no, I'm getting my passport and I'm out.
Yeah.
So in 2023, you still have this same narrative. Oh, you're corny. You're lame. Are you serious? Is the record stuck on stupid? But now we don't have to tolerate it anymore. We just flip it over to the B side and get that passport and move the hell on.
Exactly. Passport and keep it pushing. That's what I'm saying. That's why brothers are going different places. You know what I mean? Because right now it's just like, and a lot of it, well, I guess because if you look at it from the Gen X perspective, a lot of the newer technologies and stuff like that did start kicking off. So that's where, You started having kind of like you said, the black TV shows, the black music, a lot of the mainstream things that are considered black. A lot of that modern day, blackness, I'd say did kind of come from the Gen X era. And I think right now a lot of brothers are waking up and they're shaking out of that spell. Um, and it might be rough for some, easier for others. I think for those of us who are already kind of on the fringes, we're just like, yeah, we kind of saw this coming. We knew what it was. And I think there are some brothers who were the select dudes at one point in the community now are starting to wake up and realize that that selectness uh is not anything to brag about anymore, because now time has ticked around to where they realize everything that they were bragging about is now at their detriment. Oh, I'm with this chick, and and I'm providing this. Yeah, but what are you getting out of that? Oh yeah, but she don't respect you. Yeah, you got all them kids, now you on child support. Oh, you took your queen, and y'all got married, you did the right thing, but now what? She's divorcing you. Now she's leaving you. Did you find out she was cheating? You find out all these different things that you was bragging about back in the day, and now you see other brothers who were saving themselves, who were focused on their goals, on their mission. They weren't out in the streets chasing tail every day. You know what I mean? They will focus more on their college stuff or whatever. Now they're in different places. Now you don't have anybody to flex on anymore, because everybody you used to flex on is then got up, moved on, and went to different places, and they're dealing with different, situations. So, I mean, when we look at it, the culture, the community, stuff like this is why we've been saying that there's nothing to save here. Because if you look at it, and I believe I was listening to BGS, I believe it was last night, but I think the video was maybe a day old. Anyway, they were talking about what was the main topic? Well, it was it the one dude was up there asking some silly questions. He was saying stuff about what was his name? The brother's name was something agile thinker or something like that. If y'all watch BGS, it's probably one of his most recent lives. And the brother was up there making himself look, he was trying to learn, but man, he was saying some stuff that was off the wall. But one of his biggest things was, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I thought you were finished.
Yeah, well, one of his biggest things was about saving. BGS finally drug it out of him, but one of his biggest things was he was trying to get to the point of saving the community, right? So when we finally started to walk down that road, brother started breaking some of the most profound sense that I've heard across this whole entire being black situation. One of the most profound things I heard, I think it was Judzilla, and another brother was talking about it, was saying that throughout the whole diaspora, okay, when you look at Black America, we are like the smallest percentage. They said we are a margin of error in America. Throughout the whole we are the margin of error throughout the whole diaspora.
Damn.
Meaning we are not necessarily the norm or the standard when it comes to the diaspora. As far as all the Negroes who are out of Africa, okay, who are not currently living in Africa. What I mean, the diaspora between Brazil, Central America, and every other place, we are the outliers as far as probably like the smallest group. Because if you look at the United States and how everything breaks down, we're 14%. That is technically a margin of error because we're this small in America. I've always said we're this big in a population that is this big. Okay,
right.
14 out of 100. Right. So we're not even 25%. We're not even a quarter of the United States of America. So it's almost natural to want to link back to places that are more African represented. More black people are there. Your features are more there to fight and to hold on to anything in these Americas as far as in the United States. And then if everything was good, then it would be good. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like families are thriving, whatever. We're not, it'd be fine. You're like, all right, cool. We just, we in America. But the fact that it is breaking down, the science experiment, the project is failing. Okay. America overall is having these issues. United States is having these issues. But especially Black America. This is why they say that we feel it the most, because we're this big compared to this much, right? So it's natural to want to say, you know what, over here in Gambia, South Africa, in Uganda, Ethiopia, hell, Brazil, Colombia, and every all the places we talk about. Shit, even Thailand if you want. The ice looks a little colder over there. And I am not the only one who sees that. That's natural. Look at from a scientific standpoint, you wanting to leave America as a black man is like, yeah, history, current science, the economy. Yeah, I can understand you wanting to leave. But the people who fight us the most are the ones who are the gate guards of the so-called community. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. You ride on that. Go ahead.
No. But see, that's just the thing. If you look at our history in this country, we started from such a small number, which is why we have not been able to keep any of the African heritage that we had when we were over here, brought over on the boat.
That's right.
Whereas in Brazil, you can still see remnants of African heritage and tradition that they were able to hold on to. Why? Because there was more of them numerically.
That's right.
There was more, and there still are more black people in Brazil than there are in America. They brought anywhere between 3 to 5 million Africans into the continent of South Africa. I mean, of South America, excuse me.
South America, yeah.
So a lot of the things that we never had, they still have to this day. Yeah. And every time that we have tried to get some type of culture here to put us on the right, there's always been obstacles or something that had bumped us off. I mean, we can talk about every war that this country has had, black men have fought and have never shared in the prosperity from us sacrificing for those wars. Mm-hmm. Black men fought for your rights. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it was black men from Tulsa to Rosewood, and a lot of people don't know there were multiple cities that black people created. Black men did that because they understood that you had to have an economic foundation, and they were torn down. So fast forward to Civil Rights Act. I mean, even then, black men were marching. Yes, black women participated, but the vast majority of people they were targeting were black men because they did not want black men to have what we fought so hard for. And now you see that's what it is. We're here because black men fought for you to have the right to be able to say what you want, to have the right for you to be able to vote, for you to have the right for you to be able to do the things that you benefit. And you forget that black men have been doing what they can to try to build a culture here. But you have steadily been running back to master's bed. You can't get past that. You have been socialized to think that you better because you sleep in master's bed. You in the big house. Yeah. You light skinned. You got good hair.
Good hair.
All this dumb shit. But that's part of our culture. Where did that come from? That comes from the women. And it still comes from the women.
Yeah.
You trying to be Miss Ann instead of being who you are and being happy with it. And black men have been trying to tell you, sweetheart, you black, you beautiful, you don't need those things. But you don't listen, and you run out and you bleach your skin. You blonde your hair. You straighten it out. And now you run around with ovarian cyst. I just saw a commercial where they were talking about these relaxers and stuff are causing cancer and ovarian cysts in women. Black women are the ones that are using relaxer, toxic Avenger chemicals the most in their hair.
Yeah.
And now it's detrimental to them. It's a health risk.
And to speak on that, I'm telling you what, real quick, I probably heard one of the most profound things I heard. I got to get this quote. This was Shay Sade, y'all. This ain't me. I'm going to give it to her. Shay Sade probably made one of the most profound things. You know what I'm saying? She said, y'all want to go out here and call yourselves queens. but you wear another woman's crown. You ladies don't even wear your own crowns.
Don't even wear your own hair.
You wear their crowns, and you get mad when your men want them. You wear a Brazilian woman's crown. You wear Asian women's crown. Oh, isn't it
Right.
funny that where they getting the hair from is where black men
Yeah, man. I
black
mean,
men are going, because you have been wearing the crown of women, okay, from other countries and other cultures. You've been emulating their features and doing all these extra things, the bleaching of the skin and doing all this extra stuff, straightening your hair unnecessarily, like not being proud in your afro or your curly nature of your hair and stuff like this, because you gave in to the, I don't want to say necessarily the oppression, but you gave into the the
the
negative
saying.
stereotypes that were thrown at you. Yeah, exactly. You wanted, okay, well, yeah, you wanted to live up to the perceived American stereotype that was set forth for the image of white women. Now, this is the thing. They blame that on us and say that we were the ones who were always telling them that, oh, they need to look more like white women. No, y'all wanted to be more like white women, and you started doing that because you wanted to be more appeasing to white men. Don't you run that bullshit over here and say that we were the ones, because black men would have no issue with your natural hair. Because if we did want you to be more like white women and all these other things, why are we still complaining and have been complaining ever since back then when y'all first started wearing wigs and dyeing and deep frying your hair? We have been telling you wear your natural hair. I had a sister that I was going to school with up here, in the tech class, in the computer classes and stuff.
Uh,
She was showing me these pictures about her when she's out with her homegirls. She'd be wearing little wigs and stuff like this. And, sitting right in front of me, she had her natural fro. I think she had a wrap on her, like a wrap, and then her fro was hanging out, right? Her hair was kind of
uh-huh.
like doing this thing. And I said, you look far better right now wearing your natural hair. And she just was like, the look on her face is though she's like, she knew it, but just to hear another black man tell her that she looks great, looks beautiful with her natural black hair, you don't need to do nothing to it. Do whatever you. I said, do what you want. Nah, I said, your hair just like that, letting your fro hang out, being proud of who you are. That is exactly where you need to stay. I told her that, and every other time we've ever met, she's always had her natural hair out. So it goes a long way. And I think that black women just, for some reason, don't believe that we actually do like our features, because they internalize it and project it onto us. You hate yourself. No, sis, you hate yourself and want me to agree with the fact that you hate yourself. We don't hate who we are, because a lot of black men who are traveling, we have no issue going over here dealing with girls who are, Afro descent, whatever. We don't care. We're looking for treatment. We're looking for culture. We're looking for tradition. Y'all are the one who are the colorists saying it's, oh, you want straight haired white Becky bitches. If a brother does wind up with one, guess what? He's with her because she treats him right, not because she's white. Okay, not because her hair is straighter than yours. Don't get it twisted.
But you already know that. See, 10, 15, 20 years ago, the guys that were the lames or the cornballs, see, we didn't have this information. So we couldn't figure out what we were doing wrong. Why? Because we were told, be the nice guy, do this, get flowers, blah, 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 be all this, all this other stuff. And you're still getting the same results.
Yep.
But now with all the information out and them telling on themselves, we don't believe it anymore. And we can see the real deal. So all the stuff that you told us was lies, because you don't really want good men. You want men that you can control and you can reverse engineer, because you only need him for one thing. You need him to look good, to be sexy. But see, when it's time to pay them bills, that sexy man don't look too good. He need to get his ass up and go get a job.
Exactly.
A J-O-B.
Yes.
But see, you couldn't tell them that. They got the hot, sexy dude. They didn't get the industrial dude, the dude that's going to be a good father, and good provider and a good protector. They got Thugnificent and the Lethal Interjection, and that's what they rolling with.
Interjection. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they
Yeah,
chose.
Yeah.
So, but now dudes of our ilk understand the game because it's all over the place. It's out in plain view. Women are telling you, well, we don't like you, you're corny. Okay, that's fine. But Philippina P, oh, well, she called you corny. Come on over here. Because you're not corny to me. Oh, I'm out. Wait a minute. Where you going? No, sweetheart. See, now not only has technology even the playing field, but the game has changed. Now we're a global market.
Yep.
And like I've heard numerous people say, nobody's flying to America checking for you.
No, they're not.
Nobody's coming to America and say, I got to go get me a black girl, a black woman. No, sir. Why?
No, they're not.
Why would I fly over the continent to come get you?
Right.
You know, and the younger guys don't have no chill either, because that programming that you've been running them with, the equality stuff, is working.
Yeah.
When men don't open doors anymore, well, sweetheart, feminism killed it. You don't need it.
Exactly. Y'all killed chivalry.
Oh, but I'm a woman. No, we're equal.
Exactly.
Our pronouns are her and him and them and they. We all the same. So why should I pay for your dinner? You work, you make money.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, you corny. That's cool.
That's all
I
right.
tell you what. What's happening is, you remember the show Family Matters?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Steve Urkel,
yep,
was on the show, and he was chasing what's her name, Laura.
Laura.
He chasing Laura. He chasing Laura. Laura wouldn't give him a time today, but as soon as Myra came along, and she was all on Urkel the way he was, she had a problem with it.
Sure did.
Now when Urkel went from Steven to Stefan. Yeah. Now Laura was all into him. But what changed? He was the same person, but her perception of him changed.
Yep.
But now what you have a lot of guys that are Urkel to black women, but Stefan to everybody else. And they're the same person. So why would I continue to stay here and be viewed as Urkel when I can step out with my passport, even step out, I don't even have to go that far, just step into a different culture within the United States and be viewed as Stefan and get all of the benefits.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the offer here is just like, I've said this before and I've said it again. For black women who have such an issue with brothers traveling, the ones that do, give us a better deal then. Show us a better deal. Okay. If you're going to do all that complaining and you're going to make all them TikToks and you got all this to say, then show us a better deal. Show us why we should stay. All right. Let us know why it's best to stay here and deal with you out of everything that we have been dealing with for all these years, because we know y'all. We grew up with y'all. So what can you say that now, 35, 40 years later, from growing up around you, that is going to sweeten the pot and then tell us that, oh, y'all are the better deal? You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
not a damn thing.
What brother said? He said, well, you might be able to go overseas and get you a black woman, but is she gonna know how to play spades? Like, what, nigga? Like, what, bro? Like, does she know? Well, she need to know how to shoot dice too. Like, what?
Right, exactly. Drink Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, make that heart attack Kool-Aid with half a pound of sugar in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need the things that you want us to hold on to are to the detriment of our community. You know what I'm saying?
Playing spades is not really that big of a learning curve. I mean, you have certain things that you can do and whatnot, but it's a card game. It can be taught.
It definitely can be taught.
I'm not tied to the community because I got a good spade hand and a good spade
Yeah,
player.
exactly. I got the
I
big
mean,
joker, so I know how to play.
yeah,
You know
exactly,
what I'm saying?
exactly. You know, I'm
Like,
not finna run 10 for 200 on your ass and,
yeah,
and,
for
and
real.
stay in the community. I will get the hell up
Yeah,
out of here.
going
I'm
10 for
cool.
2, baby.
Yeah.
Yo,
Man, look
so
here, look at the only only spade hand I'm trying to play is with my future wife. I'm trying to get
right.
3 in a possible.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that would be Bambinos.
And I got the
Yeah,
big joker.
yeah,
Tough.
yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
yeah, man, the product stuff, you know, and all this stuff is just what we've been talking about for years, and it's just so now in the last 18 months, it's just a constant hammering of the same talking points. Kevin Samuels passing, Austin making a statement, the vitriol and the pushback and the shaming of black men traveling and all this other stuff, and now you starting to see, and this is just the latest in a series of confirmations for black men. I mean, you call Michael B. Jordan corny. This dude is on, I think, what magazine, whatever it is. He's the sexiest man alive, but you call him corny?
I think it was GQ.
Yeah, whoever hands out that award, he's on the cover of Sexy Man Alive. And then you go after his co-star and say he looked like a slave. Are you
Slave
serious?
face. Like what?
Yeah,
That's
I was like,
Kang.
huh?
That's Kang. Y'all need to chill.
So a critical thinking black man understands all of this. He has all the information from credible sources, and he can make a decision. And the best decision he can make is to get a passport and move the hell on, because you're not going to be able to build a foundation with shoddy material. And the black community is full of shoddy material. However you want to call it. Are there some good women out there? There are.
Of course.
But like Charles said, I shouldn't have to dig through the trash to find a dime.
That's what he always said too. That's one of the videos.
Yeah, Charles always used to say,
that's one of his videos
I shouldn't have to dig through a trash to find a dime.
Exactly. I remember, Charles talked about that. I remember sitting and watching on his YouTube channel. He said I shouldn't have to dig through the trash, you know what I'm saying, to find a diamond. And man, them videos back in the day where he was sitting in his apartment, he had the TV in the background showing his photos from Brazil.
Yeah, man.
I was just like, bruh, he was just like, he was breaking everything down. When he would go from, I think, Philly, when he would go from Philly down to Brazil and talk about everything I do when I get back in the States is tailored around me getting back down to Brazil. Like,
right. And nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as we hit the States, there is some law for some guys, especially if you find a place that you resonate with, but you understand what it is. I don't need to go out on dates. I don't need to go out here and spend money on unnecessary stuff. I can enjoy my life here, but at the same time, I know what it is. It's time for me to get the hell out and get the hell on, because it's something that in the movie Creed, they talk about it. And I don't want to spoil it for the people that have seen it, but
I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow.
But there's one thing that was very powerful and profound, is that the trauma that black men experience here in the States and how it has a lasting effect on our psyche, especially if it's not talked about, if it's not treated, because it still can have effect on you years and years and years. Even though you think that it's not there, you can have a trigger that brings stuff back and puts you in a different mode. And like I said, when you see the movie, you see what I'm saying. But I to me, that was just very profound. And I really identified with that, because that's another story of Passport Bros. I'm like, you have been traumatized by a community that has shunned you. They say they don't need you. They think you're corny, you're lame and whatnot. But now when brother opted out, oh, you broke. Sweetheart, you can't be broke and travel.
No, you can't.
I mean, are you that dumb? Just because you are going on a girls' trip and it's 8 of y'all in one bedroom and y'all sharing two double beds and somebody sleeping on the floor.
And it was sponsored. And it was sponsored by Tom Joyner Morning Show or whoever is running them damn cruises and all that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And you can't be broke and travel. That's just like an oxymoron. But you constantly saying you broke and you dusty and you this and you that. I'm like, sweetheart, do you understand what it costs to travel? I'm
No, they
like, and
don't.
for
They
you to
don't
be
talk
able to
about
travel 2 or 3 times out of the year, those are the men that you need. And on a subconscious level, they know that, but they still don't want you.
You know, Eric, you said something that's actually kind of interesting. I think that whole backlash about travel bros being dusty and all this, again, we've already broken all of this down to the molecule. And we've riddled everything down to pretty much. It's a lot of projecting going on because, especially when we broke the case and we cracked the code on what was going on in Jamaica, which we already knew, but then we just put video, we put truth to power, and we put their ass on blast on the Some Jam screen. But the
You're
thing
damn
is
right.
now, and now when we look at something else, the whole broken dusty part of it. No,
Dude, that
I think they are broken dusty because listen, we just said they get sponsored. It's a trip, it's a group. They're all going together, staying in the same hotel. You know, they're not lavishly traveling, you know, to these spots they're going to. They're not out there big dogging it like there's some, you know, mogul out here going down and dealing with the best of men in Jamaica. No, you hoes is broken dusty going down there, living 3 of y'all in one apartment.
Yep.
And then when it's your turn, you run out there with the yardies on the bamboo boats, getting your back straightened out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Seeing the Jamaican chiropractor. You know what I mean?
I did doing your impression of Eric Badu Bag Lady. Yeah, man. You know what?
man.
So that's why you really can't listen to the rhetoric that come out of their mouth. I think a lot of them do it because it's a hot topic. They think they're going to get some type of attention, but at the same time, and they think they still control you and own you. But the unexpected pushback that they have been receiving worldwide has put them in a peculiar predicament because they've never had anybody challenge them. Not only are you getting challenged, you're getting challenged by women's hair that you're wearing, and they're calling you out on it.
They're calling you out for it.
They're calling you out on it.
Yep.
I mean, you get sprayed up in the club. They're talking about how you're overweight, your attitude, how if these men are dusty and broken lane, how come that they're able to travel and you're not? And you're saying if they're leftover men, then that's fine, we'll take them. But why are you so upset about leftover men that you claim you don't want? See, they're being picked apart, and their arguments are being picked apart on a global stage. And now you're starting to see infighting. That's why you're starting to see them push back against Sierra and single woman. Sweetheart, you up there in Russell Wilson's house. You talking about you a single independent woman.
Single independent.
You know what I'm saying? Some of them are starting to get it.
Yeah.
Same thing with you spending your rent money on Beyonce. She got a whole Jay-Z on the other side.
Facts.
And you still letting her sing to you about her being independent. I say, keep drinking that Kool-Aid because the pitcher is almost empty. And that last drop, you better suck it up because it ain't gonna be no more.
And Cardi B, same thing. She married. They got, well, I know Offset got a bunch of kids, but I think he got 1, maybe 2 with Cardi. I don't remember exactly, but you know what I'm saying? These females have been, y'all keep following them if you want to, but now we are finally starting to see a pushback for the culture. We're finally starting to see the work that the Black manosphere has been putting in, because the Black manosphere is specifically going to affect Black culture. And now with the advent of Kevin Samuels and our BGSs and even our Obsidians, you know what I mean? Because he was getting notoriety from the that one publisher and all this other stuff. They were writing stuff about him. The Black manosphere is finally finally starting to get recognized, and we're finally starting to see, because think about it. Remember, 14%. It don't take much to affect 14%, which is why we feel a lot of things in the culture so strongly, because we're compressed. We're not this stratified, you know, all different types of African nations. Because with the white people, they're white, but they identify between each other as, oh, you're German, you're French, you're Polish, you're from wherever you're from. They
Right.
have like they almost have tribes within being white because they only call themselves white, and a lot of black folks don't know this. They only really call themselves white politically, and then other races. But between each other, they'll tell you I'm French or I'm
Right.
Polish or I'm German, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they came here on different circumstances. We came here, phrasing, we came here as one big nigga. We didn't
Yeah.
come here on the advent of being, oh, you come from the tribe of Gambia and you're respected. You come from the tribe of Zulu and your tribal affiliation will be respected here in America. No, you came here as a working class, one big nigga in order to build this country. And now that we've gotten to a point, because they never planned for us to be free, now that we've gotten to a point to where we've had our freedom, with technology, and the advent of so many things, now we're starting to realize, wait a minute, we can't build like these other cultures around us are. What's the problem? And ever since we've come out of change, that has been one of our biggest issues. And I think now, this is why now is so important and so pressing. In today's 2023, we're starting to realize that the problem isn't the white folks and white supremacy. They've been beyond doing what they did to us. They've been beyond that. They don't even focus on us anymore. It's us internally now dealing with each other, with each other, and realizing that the problem is between us. That's one of the big currently. I'm not saying that what they did to us in the past didn't happen and it didn't matter. No, it played its effect. Don't get it twisted. But now in today's 2023, the bigger issue is, wait a minute, why can't we get over racism? Why can't we get beyond civil rights? Oh, wait a minute. Because we don't get along. Shout out to the brother Obsidian. We don't get along well enough to actually make a strong enough footprint on something we all agree on and we all get behind, which is why shout out to Tariq Nasheed for coming up with the whole ADOS thing, right? But there's not even enough of us who will really carry that and really get behind it and say, we're now going to change our names to, well, actually, I heard that they are working on that project of officially changing the name from African American to ADOS. Okay, yeah. But okay, under ADOS, what power does ADOS have when the family of ADOS is broken? Now, I feel as though calling it ADOS is okay, technically, but the new black community is not going to be a lot of African descendants of slaves as far as the natural born black Americans. I think a lot of it is going to be a mixture. I think we're going to get more like Brazil. I think that's what's going to happen because we know that the birth rates are low. They're moving in more Latins coming from Mexico and all these different places. I think that we're about to be more and more like a Brazil. Now then, if we become more like a Brazil, I think, now think about this. If we become more like a Brazil in the United States, we'll be similar to a Brazil, but it'll be less Africans. It'll be less black recognized because Brazil's admixture of black was this big compared to our admixture of what is going to be considered black is going to be more like this. So everything that mixes, yeah, will be mixed, but it won't be a heavy dosage of black. It'll probably be more of a heavy dosage of more Latin. It'll be more of a Latin mix. So in my opinion, I think we'll start to look more Colombian. And what I mean by that is we'll be brown, okay? But I don't think it'll be a mixture, a high mixture of what we see in Brazil of everything. I think we'll just be more mixed like, well, I guess what I'm saying is I guess a lot of us are more past for being Latin, in the future mixing of the United States. I think that's what it'll be.
It could be, but you have to remember a lot of those people coming up here have the same history that we do. They just don't want nobody to know.
That's true.
You coming, I mean, you talking about the Afro Latina population that they hide, Mexico. Man, there's people that, my complexion, your complexion in Panama. And El Salvador, Nicaragua. You're still getting the same people. You're just getting their culture. They don't have the same culture that we have. They still are in a culture where family matters. So it's going to be a problem for the U.S. because
Yeah.
all of the immigrants are still bringing their culture with them. And the United States is trying to destroy that culture and have you assimilate into it. But it's not happening because
Mm,
because they're too strong. They have the
you're right.
numbers. And the only thing that's really going to change is once they realize their power and put it in a political basis, white people are going to start catering to them. But I also think that they they advertise a lower number of us. And I think that's a psychological thing because on
Yeah.
the last census they said it was 49 million of us, 49.5 million. And they
Yeah.
claim it's 60 million uh, people of Latino descent. But at the
Mm,
same time, if you go back and look at some of these people, I mean, look at George Lopez. George Lopez, dark. I mean, you know what I'm saying? With the exception of him speaking Spanish and having straight hair, bro, you kind of brown to be Mexican.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's some Negroes in your family tree too.
Yeah. They
So
do. They do
yeah,
have
yeah,
that.
exactly. But as far as what you're saying about black men and black women don't get along, man, that is 100%. And I think shout out to Obsidian, but bruh, I heard him say that years ago, and a light bulb went off. And you're not going to be able to build with somebody that's in competition with you.
That's right.
If I tell you to go over there, I need you to go handle this for me, and you giving me lip about it, then that's energy that I have to put out to correct you. And I'm arguing with you instead of you going and getting it done so I can focus on something else.
Yep.
And that has been the detriment to our community. And you're
Exactly.
seeing it. And nothing's going to change
Mm,
because they still have the mentality. And they think that Big Daddy government is going to save them, not knowing that the United States is broke.
yeah.
You really broke.
Yeah.
All look. You think Sleepy Joe's gonna save you, dude? Between Trump and DeSantis, if they get in office, you gonna see cuts like you've never seen before in your life.
Who you
You
telling?
think you were panicking when they cut the food stamps off in Georgia a couple years ago? Let them cut that Section 8 off. Let them cut them food stamps off. Let them cut all these programs off. And last
Mhm.
but not least, let them do away with Title IX.
Ooh. Ooh.
You're done. You're
Yeah.
done. Let
Yeah.
them do away. And that's what they're working on because you want equality. Okay, well, then you shouldn't get special privileges for you being a female and being black. So you've been
Mm.
screaming for the things that you want. Well, when it happens, where are you going to run to? Because you don't have a community to run to. Jewish people have a community. Asian
Mhm.
peoples have a community.
Mhm.
The Latino people have a community.
And a state. They have a state.
Yes, you
Mhm.
have no community. And the men that you need to build a community so that you can have a fighting chance are checking out or crossing over.
Mhm.
So what does that leave you? That leaves you high, dry, and by yourself.
Indeed. Definitely so. You made a good point. You made a strong point. It made me think about something. I think that the natural order of things, why some people in the black community are having such a struggle, is because I think they're fighting against the natural thing that's happening, which is black people, specifically American black people, are we're getting absorbed. Essentially, we're mixing into, or I would say back into the diaspora. I think we're mixing back into the diaspora. Okay, because the culture of what you call, now listen, think about this, because race is a social construct. Think about it.
Right.
Race is a
Yep.
social construct. Okay, so if race is a social construct, now what you call black or white or whatever is all based on the social cues, meaning that we as black folks are the mainstream American black culture is changing. Okay, because even the foundation of what it was built on wasn't something that was strong. And what I mean by that is strong as far as something that we should continue to hang our hats on, because for me, it was built in chaos. And so too it shall be destroyed.
Right.
Right? Because it's going to end the way it started. We started out in this country in chaos, and damn it, I believe it's going to end the same way. And what that means is people are going to be fighting over certain things. And I believe that I'm not saying that there won't be black folks, but your perception of what is black that's what's going to change. You're going to turn more into, what I would say is probably more of a Latin black. Okay. You're going to be, listen, this is what I think is going to happen in the far future. Probably blacks are going to be directly associated with the respective states of the diaspora. What I'm saying is that the future black people of America, and I'm talking future, however long it takes, 50, maybe 100 years, you're going to be admixtured back into Central America, the Caribbean, okay, pick an island, South America. You're going to be admixtured back in, so that when America says, oh, this person's black, their state, now they're going to have a state. Now they're going to be they could be Dominican, they could be Puerto Rican, they could be Haitian. But I think the culture or the advent of ADOS Black America is going to diminish, and it's going to grow into, the diaspora. Because you got to understand, like I was listening on BGS's panel last night. We're an outlier, numbers wise. We're an outlier, okay, and we are a margin of error, okay. Think about our numbers. Now we've done a lot of good work, but I think that's going to grow and evolve into something that as soon as what it's going to take is going to take black women. And this will be the easiest way, or it's going to be hard until this happens. Black women are going to have to make peace with other races of women, meaning they're going to have to make peace with being a part of something that's not quote unquote ADOS Black American culture. What I mean by that is more like they would have to be okay with tracing their roots outside of America. So essentially what would have to be is black women would have to also be on board with being passport girls. I mean, it would kind of that would be the easiest transition from what I see, because then as a culture, we could all move into say, okay, now we got something. Now let's everybody start tracing their roots or start looking to mix back into different parts of the diaspora, because the weakest thing about American black folks is we don't have a state. We don't have a state. Everybody else has a state in a flag. We don't. And I feel like that would probably be one of the strongest things, that if we mixed back into our rightful places in the diaspora, and now at this point you can kind of pick, you know what I'm saying? And I think as black men, we're doing that. Hell, we're going to Thailand.
But see, this is the rub.
We're having children with Colombian women and Brazilian women, and there you go. Boom, my family's Brazilian. Like, yeah, you're American roots, but dude, my child's Brazilian. And like we said, the new black community, the new black culture is going to be a mixture of the diaspora, because the diaspora is starting to overtake the ADOS Black American community. And I think, and a lot of us travel bros think it's a beautiful thing, because I think, to me, and on a deeper level, we're returning home. That's just like I said, that's just me on a deeper level. That's how I see it.
But see, this is the rub with that. You're going to have the majority of black people here get on board with that.
Exactly.
And they're not going to do that, because the black people here are elitist.
Yeah.
Because we, for so long, because of the position that we've been in this country, and because of the advancement of this country being a superpower, we've been on the spotlight more. So other people in the diaspora have looked to us as an example. But as they start to see the deterioration and dysfunction of what's going on, see, America does a great job of hiding the real problems in Black America, but they can't do it as well as they used to because of technology.
That's right.
They're exporting dysfunction because you have the Beyoncés, the Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, and all those other performers of their ilk. You have the Woman King type movie. They promoted that movie hard in Brazil. They still want to push that dysfunction because they want to disable the Black diaspora in whole. So when you start saying, well, look, you got to disconnect from that because Black women in America get off on being seen because they don't have anything to connect to except for the pat on the back or being on the big screen or being the first to say this or do that or this, you go girl, and all this other stuff, which holds no value other than it makes you feel good. Now you're telling them to go back and plug into a culture where men are still the head of the household. They're going to have problems with that. And you've seen YouTubers, African-American women, go back to the state or back to the continent and have problems trying to reassimilate into that because they have been socialized to be disruptive agents of chaos.
That's right.
And you are not going to go back into a tribe and think you're going to get in there and say what you want and do what you want and be disruptive to what we've built.
Yep.
Now, the men, on the other hand, they're going to be able to go back in and they're going to be able to excel because now we understand what it is to be in that position.
Exactly.
So the men are going to be able to go and men will be able to assimilate, procreate, and create a new Black America. But African-American women, they're not going in droves because they're going over there thinking that they deserve the top shelf dude because they're an American.
Exactly.
But sweetheart, you playing an away game and you're not even first round. You like junior varsity. You're not even in the game in the G League. You on the bench.
Exactly.
So I mean, it can happen, but it's going to happen with the men because the men are going to be the ones that'll be able to come back in and assimilate and recreate.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that that would be the easiest way, is what I would depict it. But that's why I said it's going to be chaotic because the women are not letting it go without a fight. The women know that their power is right here. They know that their flag is buried in the ground because for so long and over so many years, it's been, repetition upon repetition of strengthening the community, i.e. the Black woman, into, believing that she is the Queen Mother Earth Goddess right here. And she has now separated herself from any of her allies that she could have had with different races of women by over the years being so, we'll say, snide and, talking down upon other races
entitled,
of women, now entitled, spoiled. And now more recently, we see the backlash from other women. And now because they're finally starting to understand, oh, your men are not defending you anymore. Oh, yeah, it's open season on your ass now. I've had a lot to say about you bitches since the 90s. So now you're starting to see other women who are now throwing their hat in the ring saying, y'all are out of line. And if, like Brother Jamel said, y'all had all that time, all those years to clean it up amongst yourselves. Shahrazad Ali and all the other ones who came before, all the other matriarchs who wanted to get in there and try to help y'all sisters out. Even Monique, when she started trying to say stuff like, sisters, stop going to the airports looking sloppy, stop wearing house shoes and stop wearing nightgowns and motherfucking bonnets at the airport. When you go out here in public, you represent us, y'all look sloppy. They attacked her. They attacked everything that takes away from them doing whatever they want to do. They do not want authority, which is why they can't go over and assimilate to other countries like we can. One, because men build. Two, they are the ones who are looking to be the ones who will forego the generations or who will bring forth the next generations But if you are not a viable candidate that men want to drop seed in based off your mentality and saying, I don't want half of my child to be that because you're on some other stuff, then you're going to start to see yourselves become less and less and less of a viable candidates for men, because we're just looking at it like, you know, because I think that the majority of black men, even the ones who are the biggest blue pills, biggest simps, biggest haters of passport bros, if they traveled in and got a taste of what it's like, because most of them can't. That's the problem. If they were set up perfectly, IT, everything's in order, no felonies, your record is clean, whatever. If you hit the whole reset button and you were able to start the game over and be able to be American and have the opportunity to travel, and all you had to do, and you had the money, everything is perfect. All you had to do was go. Most brothers would go, and they would understand, like we understand, the opportunities and everything that is lined up for them over there when they go. So more men would be on board, and then it would be more so a stronger force of men understanding, oh yeah, we can definitely go to other places and build. Because I told you, the last vestige, the last holdout, you know, the rebellion, okay, is basically the ABW who don't want to go. She ain't going. She ain't going. She don't want to be talked to. She don't want to have order, structure. And this is for the ones who, you know, not all, but those who understand it. They are not going. They don't want the order, the structure, the discipline, the traditionalism, because they have so been built on being this new modern feminist woman, and they are not giving any ground, because black men have been trying for so long and so many generations to bring them. They don't want to go. They want to stay right here. They want to take it back here. Black man wants to take 5 steps forward, and she wants to take 8 jumps backwards. And it's just like, we can't deal with you, and we're tired. And no longer are we going to fight you. You can stay right here and be cat ladies. You can stay right here and be dog mamas. Okay. And the majority of black men who know better are saying, bitch, we're done. And you can talk all the trash you want to on TikTok, but you going to remember this and heed these words. Black men build, whether you know it or not. Black men build. When we have fertile soil to plant seed in, we build. And that's what it looks like when we have proper places to build proper families. You don't see it here in America because of the destruction of what our so-called community is. But when y'all start to see the little bit of that door that gets cracked open, and on the other side is black men building, having families, progressing, making things happen, and when they're women that don't look like you, oh, it burns a fire in your ass like you've never felt. And they can't stand it because they know that they were wrong. And that is the biggest thing right now. That's why I said it's going to end in chaos, because they don't want to go. They want to stay over here and be right and hold on to the flagpole of ADOS instead of saying, ladies, the community of ADOS is on fire. This shit's burning. We're getting out of the building. We're going over here. We're doing what we got to do. We're getting ourselves together. But just like Michael B. Jordan, when we have those visions, our visionaries, brothers who get up and make it, we're lame. We're squares. We're not good enough. We're not swag enough. Okay? We're not dangerous enough. We're not exciting enough. And then those brothers, they go up there like Michael B. Now he's director, top actor, different Marvel movies, superhero, literally in talks to be the next Superman. And y'all can't stand it. And now guess what? And he's with a white girl. He tried it with Lori Harvey. And I think Lori Harvey got tired of him because she saw him as lame. Even Michael B, with all of what we see on the outside, because Lori Harvey was more in love with who he was on the outside. When she really got into him and understood he was an anime nerd, just like so many of us, because we know Michael B. We know he was in the anime and all this other stuff. And he represents himself for who he is. But when Lori Harvey got a dose of who he really was, she just was like, no, he's too. You can't go from Future to a Michael B. You can't go from Future and Sierra's holding on to Russ, which is why so many of us are just like, that probably ain't gonna work out, sis, for you being over there with Russell. You don't like that.
look. You can line them up, and we can shoot them down.
Not the
Steph Curry, as soon as he
Oh,
done playing, she out.
rap.
She out.
Oh, shit.
And if he don't believe that, all he gotta do is look at his daddy. Russell Wilson. She already letting you know what she wants. She's single and independent when she get half of your check.
Still saying it.
Yeah, still singing. Next, Lori Harvey passed around, and that's what you want. You want to be a thought, so be a thought, and then you're gonna wind up looking like Larsa Pippen, and I mean, bruh, she looked bad, and
she looked real bad.
She looked bad, and I feel sorry for her sons, but it's just that's the culture. That's what you want to be a part of. That's what you hold value with. So to me, it's just like, why try? It's time for us as black men to let it go. Like Teddy P say,
like another
let it go. Let it go.
Like another love TKO.
TKO. Let it go now.
Let it go.
So I mean, but seriously, that's what it is. It's time for us to let it go. It's time for us to let it go. And I think black men that have went out, took the time, put themselves together, gotten their passport, and have traveled, understand that it's time to let it go. And they don't want us to let it go because that signals the end for them, and there's no way out.
But it's not even like anything is really ending. It's the shift of an ideology.
No.
It's the shift of a culture. Like, well, it is ending, but what I'm saying is more like they don't want to let it go. They are so hell-bent on being right. Like,
well, that's fine because they've been in charge for so long. That's what I'm saying. We're right. Okay, well, be right by yourself.
By yourself, goddamn.
And this is what you're doing. You be on there right by yourself. And now they're wrong. And you have, women like Shay Sade and I think another one, Danica Springs or Jones or something like. Yeah, and other women that are doing things to speak out, and that's good. But they're getting the same pushback that Shahrazad Ali got. So they're telling you that they don't want it. Okay, well then that's fine. I understand that I don't have to put my time, my dime, and give you my shine, and I can go someplace else. And that's it. So there's no reason for us to go back and forth. That's why you listen to them say something, but you understand where it's coming from. And we have the whole playbook on YouTube. They're not going to change.
Nope.
They don't want to change. They rather revel in dysfunction than accept leadership from a black man, and let alone think you're going to come into another culture and say, "Oh, I'm going to run to Africa, sweetheart." You ain't gonna make it in Africa.
You think you are,
but Africans are going through their awakening moment. They're getting rid of a lot of that BS that was thrust upon them. So there's an awakening going on the continent. Are you ready for that? You're not.
Exactly.
So why keep having an argument or discussion about relationships? You don't want us. We're corny and lame. Cool. We out. But wait a minute. You can't go over there and get with that hot, fit chick that's cooking and looking good and doing all that stuff. Why can't I? You didn't want me. But I have deemed that you are not worthy of such beauty and such cooperation. Well, sweetheart, I'm sorry, but you ain't the only one that can pass that out. There's other places that I can shop, and I have chosen to shop overseas.
But you're not supposed to know that. Eh?
That's right. That's right. Well, it's too late. It's called the internet.
Yeah, the internet.
I'm tired. I'm tired of driving domestic, and your ass got a rebuilt motor. You need alignment. You don't get good gas mileage.
Hell no.
I can go over here and get a slim model, that's fuel efficient, dependable, got good interior, don't have low miles.
Mm-hmm.
You don't pour the speedometer back on your ass trying to trick me. Talk about, oh, this is a new car. No, sweetheart, I know. Oil leaking. So
No,
you know,
it's because she light skinned. That's why. It's because she light skinned.
no, man.
The only reason.
Man, look here. That paint job, that's an Earl Shire's paint job. Don't fall for the Kool-Aid. Dude, don't fall for the Kool-Aid. You got that paint job. As soon as you take it to the car wash, you see the real paint job. You're like, damn. What happened to the paint? No. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna get something that's fit, feminine, cooking food, fine,
Right.
and doing all kind of fornication, and I ain't got to hear nothing about it. Ain't gonna be cooperative and happy to do it.
Yeah.
So what's the problem here? You don't want me, but you don't want nobody else to have me. With tough titty. Tough titty.
And it's a shame. It's a shame that is where it is, you know what I mean? And you know, they, like I said, they want to suppress us. They want to try to tell us that we're good for nothing, you know what I mean? That, you know, we're not good enough and you don't deserve that type of woman and this and that. And then my thing is, for the brothers who are against passport bros, I'm curious, like, for the women that y'all have won, because you won the community, you won the Pookie Award. Okay, fine. She chose you. Good. Why are your women talking about us? Why do they give a damn? My G? I thought they're supposed to be so head over heels against the ball player, against the brother who was slanging in the streets, and he hustle, he on the come up, and he doing all these things. You know what I'm saying? He keeping the block out. He doing all the stuff that y'all wanted back in the day. But now y'all are complaining about us. And as those brothers, I'd be like, why are y'all even talking about these passport niggas? They goofy and lame. Why are you talking about them? Because they think they this. Ladies, and for a lot of ladies, y'all need to understand, as passport bros, we are returning fire. We are shooting back from being shot at. There have been brothers who have been traveling for decades and didn't say a mumbling word. You didn't even know who they were. But y'all had so much to say about certain dudes who started to get notoriety for traveling. And then you didn't realize it was an army behind these brothers. There's a legion. We are legion. Okay. There's a lot of us in the corners of the world you don't even know making moves because y'all only look at TikTok and sometimes YouTube. And y'all think that, oh, it's 10 brothers. No. Especially brothers who come up in the military. Been doing it since World War II. We've had a lot of time to build. Okay. And a lot of brothers are moving. It just became popular in more recent times. But I think women are now, black women specifically, are now finally starting to wake up to the idea that, wait a minute, a lot of our men really could be gone. You damn right. We're not sitting around to deal with you, because now with the advent of technology and the things that have been progressing a lot of that technology forward with the advent of like different social media apps, and the pandemic was probably one of the biggest things. Like we said before, shout out to BGS who said the pandemic sped so many things up, because what do we get from the pandemic? We got the opening of understanding how well we can work online. So that opens up the digital sphere. So that opens up working remote. And what does that open up? The international dating market. So now brothers are saying, wait a minute, I can go IT, get my certifications, all right, level up, make more money than I've ever made, living wherever the hell I want to, in dealing with the women of that country. And my second option is to stay here and deal with what? You mean I have that option? Nigga, passport bros, we up. Stop playing. Stop playing. You know what I mean? Stop playing. Why fight? Why? What ground do they have to stand on to really try to debate us? It's just like the pushback is laughable because you're fighting a battle that you didn't even know you were losing. You jumped in the fight losing. You were losing when you started talking shit. You came in talking trash to Austin and any other brother who was traveling, and we've been living with you. We grew up with you,
bruh, talking shit, bro. They've been talking shit since that article came out, 2005.
Okay.
This ain't nothing new. This is nothing new. They were talking shit degrees. They were talking shit. Yeah. I mean, there's a famous clip that has been played on over and over and over on these damn YouTube streets of Charles getting into it with the chick that her name is Keisha
Yep.
and
Her name
arguing
is-
with her. That
Yeah.
2015 clip,
Yeah.
arguing with Keisha. This is nothing new. We already know. That's why I said for black men that have already been traveling, that already been through the grinder, seeing what happened to Michael B. Jordan is nothing new. If anything, it triggered them as to the reason why they already are out. And seeing that in real time shows them nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. So there's no reason for me to waste a bunch of energy trying to change them. They don't want me. I'm cool. Because I know there are other black women on this earth that do. You are not the only black woman that came off the assembly line. A matter of fact, if you want to keep it 100, you are a facsimile of the original. So who's real and who's fake? So I'd much rather go back and get the original. And I have seen the promised land.
I've seen the mountain.
I've seen the Nash.
Seen the
Nash. I've seen the Nash on the continent. So it's cool. And you know, I did listen to what that I did listen to that podcast with BJS, and he said the same thing. You're not going to change them. So go ahead and save yourself. They're going to ride this. They're going to ride this all the way down, just like Titanic. And I'm telling you, they're talking about getting rid of Section 8. They're already having landlords now that are denying Section 8. Like, I don't deal with Section 8 tenants, period. So, and that's already been happening. You have more people with vouchers than you have landlords willing to accept them. So you telling me I don't want your money? No, sweetheart, I don't want your money because you're not worth it. So if they cut that program and they cut these food stamps off and they cut this Title IX off to where you're not a protected class anymore and everything's a free fall, guess what? You don't have any pull. You have no foundation. Nobody has to hire you because they don't need to parade you around. Oh, strong black woman, we be out here, we getting it. Oh, we don't have to hire you. We can hire the Latina that's with her husband and still be counted as a minority.
Or the Afro Latina, which you can't really tell the difference until they speak. Ooh.
Right. So guess what? Keisha, your ass is out. And you're seeing it more and more. The jobs that they did are the ones that are getting taken out by AI, Chat GP. Sweetheart, I don't need you with a bad attitude. I can order me a double Whopper with cheese with Chat GP and get good customer service. He gonna say please and thank you. So guess what? And a robot arm is gonna slide my food out and give it to me in a nice, pleasant manner.
Yeah, slide my burger, and it's gonna smile at me. Say, "Have a nice day."
Where's your ass gonna be? Oh,
for real.
Like I said, man, this is not to be mean or malicious, but you're going to start seeing a lot of homeless women and children. And people better get prepared by that because it's something that they have never seen before in this country.
Yep.
But people that have traveled, they have.
But we've
seen homeless women and children.
And children, yeah.
So, I mean, it's coming. And the only way that you're going to get any type of correction is for them to go through something. Because other than that, they're not going to change.
That's right. They have to want to go. That's the biggest thing is they have to want to go. I mean, and until they start understanding that either you need to go with your men, the last vestige of men who are trying to save you until you get on the raft and say, you know what would be even crazier? Imagine if black women were so on board and they were so fixed their shit and got it together. Imagine black couples started leaving and going overseas. and started going to different places in the diaspora where the man and the woman both wanted to go and set up shop somewhere. You know, those are the type of things that we would. You want to talk about a community? Imagine if with all of us, imagine if you have two black people, black man, black woman, American, and then they go to another country and they set up shop, get something going. Then another black couple goes to another country, gets set up. Now all of a sudden you start having these pocket networks where we link back with the diaspora. We re-ingratiate ourselves into the diaspora, Africa, wherever you want to go. But we have roots to the American dollar. We have roots to America and the benefits. Imagine that. Imagine how quick the communities would spring up with the American dollar tied to us, and also being able to be at the higher echelons of these countries because of the American dollar and the people we could come in the door getting to know, right? We were already starting. You could see the community, quote unquote, would change overnight because the community would be spread out so that whatever we would build in the Americas would be a mixture of all the different, parts of the diaspora that will come together as Americans and represent, but we can also spread back out and then go to our respective countries. So that way we would be a moving target, meaning we could be black people unaffected by the curses of America. Think about how dope that would be. Like, I don't, who are these?
Man, look,
you know what holds us?
look.
You know what holds us together? One last point, though. You know what holds us in place, in stasis, is the name African American, the culture of being a dose. Those mental shackles is what stop you. Imagine if we could link up with black women from the States, both of us good, strong, making money, and then go back to Africa like that. How
it ain't gonna happen because you can't change their perception of you, dude. We were in Africa. The African women didn't. I mean, the African American women on the first trip we went, there was a couple of African American women from New York, and when they seen us, they just looked. And they were there doing what they normally do, being entitled, being loud, being rude. And when they got up and left, the one woman, she walked over to us and spoke. The other one didn't even come over to speak. She just kept walking. But when the waiter came over to us, they gave us service. We were very just, normal, whatnot. But they are over there in their entitlement mode. You can't change programming. It's too deeply
ingrained,
rooted in them. They're not willing to change. And the older you get, the harder it is for your program to change. That means you have to do work. They're not going to do work because they bad bees and queen bees and all this other stuff that they've been telling themselves programming. And then when you go someplace where they actually have kings, sweetheart, you're just a court jester.
Exactly.
That's really what it is. So when you start talking about going over there and they know that you're an African American man, then their spidey senses are going to kick up and their program is going to kick back in, regardless of whether you are in a different environment or not. Matter of fact, the hate is going to be 10 times worse because now you're over there. They have competition. They have competition that they don't want to compete for you because they don't see any value in you. They never have. Even if you're in another country, both of you are over there together. She don't want to compete for you. She want to compete for the upscale ballers over there. Sweetheart, you don't qualify.
No.
But you think you do because you're an American, and that is how much of the propaganda you have absorbed and the disillusion in your standards. That's what I'm saying. It's deep. Us going over there together as a couple and linking up over there in the month. No. Why? Because their default setting is for us to be subservient to them, even when you're in another country. You ever notice when you travel and all of a sudden you meet some black women from the United States, first thing they want to do is link up with you? No. I didn't come all the way or halfway around the world to meet you.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen
it.
Yeah.
They're looking to link up with you because they want to fall up under your leadership in that country. They want to feel protected. I don't know you. I don't owe you. No affection, no protection. Same rules apply, whether it's a home or away game.
Yeah.
But when you get away, all of a sudden, oh yeah, let's link up. Where you from? No, sweetheart, you still Americanized. So I understand what you're saying, but I just don't agree with that because there's too many instances where you get overseas and they get complacent and fall right back into that entitlement because of you being an ADOS, African American, black, whatever you want to call yourself. That's how they view you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
and
shame,
of course,
that's what it is.
And of course, I was speaking, obviously from, in a perfect world, I was, of course, I don't think it would happen. Of course not. But, just imagine if, black men, black women is on one accord. And then they started saying, let's start actually, looking at how we could start being a moving target where we could repatriate ourselves to certain places and then move around, digital this, this, build that, whatever you. But the problem is, it's just like, fine, our women have decided not to go, and the men are going. And now I think that same thing is going to happen, but the women will not be naturally American. I think what I just said is going to happen. There's going to be pocket groups of couples, families that now move, and they're going to be repatriated back into certain parts of the diaspora. Like, I think that there will be brothers who go down, marry Brazilians. Now, guess what? Your family's half American, or you have American ties. Now, your child can get an American education, whatever. Your woman. And so brothers are so deathly afraid of bringing them back to the States, which we generally don't do that. But even if you do, the chances are still statistically higher that y'all will work out fine. But even if, say, y'all get on one page together as a team, y'all come back, y'all have roots in the States, y'all work together, and then you can also move back and forth between you being in America and then being in Brazil. And then you link up with other brothers who have international ties with their couples and families. But see, that's what the future, and this is what we talk about. The future of the black community is going to be that. We're going to be brothers who are moving around internationally. Like, my girl could be from Thailand or somewhere. Your girl could be from wherever. We link up in certain places. We move, we network. We got businesses going on, which is basically happening now. But I think that will start to speed up the more and more brothers start to get their money up, get their passports. We're at the tip of the spear right now. We are the Green Berets of this shit. Just even though it's been going on for this many years, I still say that with the advent of the Black Manosphere, with the advent of everything that's been going on and Kevin Samuels and stuff like this, Passport Bros in this light, in this particular box, is the new stream that is moving us into the future, even though it's been happening, but now it's happening with more of a wave behind it, to where the tip of the spear are brothers who have been traveling, have the experiences, and have been moving around, and they're kicking down knowledge to the younger ones. And the younger and younger dudes are now starting to understand the opportunities and options that they have with traveling and going overseas. Because we had our predecessors, of course, Charles Tyler, the brother Al Grease making the movies, the brothers who have been YouTubing this stuff for so long, so many names, to go over, but whatever. I think that we will start to get to a point to where we see the new black community will be international families, will be moving targets. Like I said, that means that, you could be in America one week, but then if something happens in the States or whatever's not going on, you don't like, boom, you can head right back out, because now you could have citizenship in a place like Ghana or whatever the case, however you want to move, and houses in South Africa, which is why you were saying, and GM was saying that the opportunities over in South Africa are priceless, because it's almost like a gold mine. You know what I mean? Like, the opportunities for us to build, network, do stuff like this, those are the things that are really going to turn it around. And this is why travel brothers who are more so the OGs will say, it ain't about women. And it ain't just about women, because young travelers and women who don't know any better and are haters, y'all just going down there to trick. How many times have we heard that? Y'all just going to chase the women. Oh, y'all just want subservient and tie a bitch to a stove and have her barefoot and pregnant. You have no idea the level of potential that you have when you have the proper mindset in the passport that is going to take you to a place where you can be on a level you never thought possible. And then when you come back to the States, and then when they see you, it's going to be just like Michael B. Jordan was on that red carpet. Oh, see, you thought I was a lame, but look at my car. Look at my houses. Look at my beautiful international family. Look at everything that I have put together. Okay. I have pockets. I have network. I have resource. Okay. This is what travel bros who really know what's up. OGs who travel. This is what we chase. Like Sasua, like going to places like Sasua and stuff like that. No slight to DR, but we already know what's up with Sasua. Just using that as an example. We know what's up over in Sasua. That's why a lot of brothers ain't really tripping over it like that. We know what's in Sasua. If Travel Bros was all about tricking, it was all about knocking down as many as we could, brothers would have never got past the DR. Okay. But there's so much like opportunity and richness and going beyond that. And opportunities for whatever you want to do. Schooling, even. You can go to school. The skills that they want for brothers who are in IT, they want those skills in those different countries, especially in Africa. They're looking, shit, Africa's, if they don't know, Africa's about to be the new wave. I'm telling them, like, Africa's going to pick up, take off, and other countries going to get left in the dust. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Understand. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
My biggest point, last point, is just that understand that America is failing right now. And there's a lot of other countries who want men. China specifically wants men. And then other countries specifically that would love to see black men with your skills, your talents. Hell, on the live we're talking about with BGS just last night, the brother, I think his dad was from Ghana or something like that. And he was even struggling trying to understand the potential that he has by getting his passport, because he was all worried about his children. It's like, bro. You no, listen. You got your mind focused on things. You've been listening to too much naysayers, right? Your children are going to have great and better opportunities being dual citizens, stuff like this. Okay. So for those who ask, this is why we travel, right? And this is why we go from being called corny to passport bros. You know what I mean? So y'all hang tight. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, get the kitty, you the wrong, get enough to drink with a drop cup. Ha! Hey! So you see how the thing goes?
This is No. One Oxford Street Hotel in
I gotta tell
Accra.
them who blend you. And who? Ha! Alright.
Would you stay here?
Send us place behind the waiting.
man. Well, bruh, Eric, man, we've been rocking for about a good cold 3 hours, man. So I guess at this point we can just go ahead and slow things down a little bit, you know what I mean? Get to the point where we go ahead and pretty much wrap it up. So, bro, like what's some of your final thoughts, man? How you feel overall about brothers being corny and going from being corny bros to passport bros, man? How you feel about it?
Hey, you know what? As a corny brother myself, I feel great about it because Chris Rock predicted it years ago. There's going to be a separation in the black community. He said the difference between black people and niggas. And what you having is black men that are traveling, black people for the most part, except for the ones that know how to plan out their trips, crying on the internet. That's a nigga that just kind of slipped through the cracks. But it's time for black men to understand their value and their worth and understand that you don't have to put up with the disrespect, this bad behavior. There's other options out there for you. And now is the time to take advantage of them because you don't owe the community nothing. Black men, your fathers, your grandfathers, your great-grandfathers, and so on and so forth have done what needed to be done to move the community forward so that we would have the precious rights that we do have now in this country as black people. And yet and still, their efforts were not rewarded. Why? Because the women that we have don't want to cooperate, which is why our community is in the condition that it's in now. So you don't owe them anything. Stay corny, focus on yourself, do the things that you're going to do, and live your life and make yourself happy because you don't owe anything to the black community. Get your passport if you haven't. And if you do have it, do what you need to do to travel and see more and do more. Because the more that you see, the more that you do, the more that you can be. You just need motivation. And when you travel, brother, that is the best motivation there is, as far as I'm concerned.
Indeed. Well, you know what I'm saying? Well, with that being said, man, let them know where they can find you. So tomorrow night, we're doing BMO Radio.
Yes, tomorrow night we are doing BMO Radio. We're going to actually be talking to a 32-year travel vet that lives in Sao Paulo. So that's going to be interesting. He has a trade consulting business. He's been down in Brazil for a long time, was actually married to a Brazilian, whatnot, almost 70 years old. But he said he want to come up and get on the mic and, spit a couple bars. I say, well, come on. But that will be tomorrow night over on the Black Men's Option at 8:35. You can see myself and Chris Strongart. We're going to be over there getting some more knowledge because I'm interested to hear what he has to say about the import-export. Really am. Really interested about that.
Well, all right, man. Well, with that being said, man, thank you for coming up, man. Thank you for supporting the channel, bro. You know what I mean? Y'all head on over, subscribe to the BMO channel on YouTube, man. There's a lot of information going on, a lot of jewels being dropped over there. I want everybody to go over there and subscribe. Get them up, you know what I'm saying? Let's get us up, you know what I'm saying? BMO together as a unit, you know what I mean? We moving together, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I said, y'all go over there and support the movement, go there and support BMO, you know what I mean? Because BMO is on the come up, you know what I mean? For a lot of the people that didn't know that the OG was laying in the cut sleeping, you know what I'm saying? John is awoke now, and it's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, we back on this travel shit now. Like, yeah,
definitely
forgot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We've been doing it. We just been doing it while others been talking about it. So, but we got receipts. But anyway, man, definitely, man. I'll check with you tomorrow night and get ready, man.
All right, G. I appreciate it, man. I'll go ahead and drop you down, bro.
All right, man. Later.
All right, G. Yes, sir. Man, man, man. It has been a great show tonight. Man, first of all, man, I'm happy that I was able to get back to y'all because man, my computer went down. Dude, I had a hell of a week. I mean, bruh, like I didn't know if I'd be able to run the channel. Stuff went down. I had for those of you who know about building PCs, I literally had to rebuild my whole PC. Like my computer crashed, my processor stopped working. All right. And I had an iCore 7 in my motherboard, an MSI motherboard at iCore 7, just stopped working. 1 minute I was good one night, and the next day I woke up to do some YouTube work. Nothing worked. Black screen of death. Fans turned on, nothing else turned on, right? So basically, y'all, I spent like the whole last week, which is why I missed my last show, rebuilding my PC. I had to get my old iCore 5, my old motherboard, put it together, put my stuff on it, graphics card, whatever. I was getting all kind of faults at first, but I worked it out. We're here. Strong Art. We're back better than ever. I want to thank you guys for coming by. Old subscribers, new subscribers, man. Appreciate you guys supporting the show. Hit the like if you have not. Subscribe. You know what I mean? We're knocking on the door 700. I appreciate you guys, man, for being here. Supporting. Get your passports if you have not. The movement is not going away. Okay, just because we may not be the most controversial or the most topic, the most highest rated topic, by SEO standards. I'm trying to tell you guys, the world has heard us. The world knows who Passport Bros are. They're listening. All right. We're getting stronger, not weaker. Don't believe anybody who tells you, oh, it's going to be Passport Bros one day and something else the next. No, this is probably one of the most profound times within the Black community because Black men are waking up, realizing their strength. They're realizing who they are, and they're looking to go wherever they need to obtain the type of lifestyle that they want, regardless of the cost, whatever it takes. They will move and groove to a better sound. And wherever that sound is, they're going to get there. They're going to go there. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys for joining, man. It's been so much, dude. So much going on. But once again, you guys have supported. You stayed strong. And also, we got the new little studio set up. I'll order some things around and fix things up a little bit, tidied up a little bit, and, made it look a little bit more better for presentation back here behind me. But like I said, guys, appreciate you for joining. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna see you guys on another one. Peace.